Chapter 1475. In the Void. The third day after Fang Yuan and the others left, Fang Ping stood proudly in the void. Behind him, many human powerhouses stood. In the sky, a figure seemed to appear above the sun. Celestial Emperor. Fang Ping, have you thought it through? Celestial Emperor smiled. Don't do anything stupid. The choice is very important. Can you really maintain your second origin source forever? The three realms are seeking survival. I'm only seeking survival. Those who die are just ants, aren't they? Ants? Fang Ping said coldly. All right, if you want to kill and repair the origin, then kill the catacombs martial artists and release the human martial artists. I will naturally talk to you. Fang Ping, Celestial Emperor, walked out of the sun with a look of pity. Why don't you understand? In the three realms, only powerhouses are eternal. How long can those rank 9 martial artists and true god martial artists live? 1,000 years? 10,000 years? And we, how long can we live? Celestial Emperor laughed. We might live for 100,000 years, 1,000,000 years, or even eternity. I don't have to exterminate you or kill you. If you are willing to prove your Tao, the Tao fruit is under my control. I promise you can live. I won't use the Tao fruit to threaten you or enslave you. I just don't want the origin to have any more problems. Celestial Emperor said softly. This time, if the origin can be repaired successfully, then we don't have to worry about the origin anymore. The origin can be closed or opened again, allowing the origin to appear in the three realms again. It will be more complete. Fang Ping, using the lives of millions of people in exchange for the peace of the three realms. Are you not willing? Celestial Emperor's voice was loud, spreading throughout the three realms. He laughed. Whether it's humans, demons, the land realm, or beginner martial artists, I only need those martial artists who are controlled by the immortal source to repair the origin to make this origin perfect. I only need those martial artists who are rank 9 and above. There are not even 10 million people. Using the lives of millions of people in exchange for the peace of the three realms, are you not willing? Martial King, Human King, you say that I am selfish, but have you ever thought that I am the selfish one? Celestial Emperor said loudly, if the origin is not repaired, more and more people will die. If the origin exists, stepping into the origin is inevitable. Sooner or later, the sea of misery will devour the three realms. Only by mending the source can the origin Tao be opened at will, and the problem can be solved. The Celestial Arch sighed and said, ask the three realms, how many people are willing to fight for you? The Celestial Emperor said regretfully, it's not that I didn't know that you sent your family away, but I didn't stop you because we could have talked it over. Slaughter, even the destruction of the three realms. Is that really what you want to see? After Fang Ping and the rest sent some people away, he understood that these people might start a war. The Celestial Thearcha's voice shook the three realms. He wanted to tell the three realms that it wasn't that he was heartless. Everything he did was for the good of the three realms. For the sake of peace in the three realms. Was it worth sacrificing less than 10 million warriors in exchange for peace in the three realms? The Celestial Arch smiled. The human heart was the most unpredictable. Was it worth it? I don't want to die. No, Your Majesty, we don't want to die. Lord Human King, Lord Martial King, didn't you humans say that all lives are equal? Their lives are lives, and so are ours. There are tens of billions of living beings in the three realms. Since Lord Celestial Arch can repair the origin, why let us become your sacrifices? Shouts came one after another. Some were indignant, some were angry, and some were rebuking. Why did they have to follow Fang Ping and the rest and mess around? It would be best if those rank 9 and above died. The Celestial Arch didn't want to kill everyone, Before this, everyone thought that they would die, but now they saw an opportunity. They saw hope. At this moment, in the catacombs continent, countless people roared loudly. Countless people knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. They begged Fong Ping and the rest not to start a war with the Celestial Arch. They begged Fong Ping and the rest to have mercy on all living beings in the three realms. The Celestial Arch smiled and looked at the group of people below. The human heart. This was the human heart. Fong Ping, can't you see through it? The Celestial Arch chuckled and said slowly, what you want to protect is not worth mentioning in the eyes of others. You think you are saving the world. In fact, you are the devils in their eyes, the demons who destroy the world. Fong Ping's expression was indifferent, a little disdainful. The catacombs is not what we want to protect. Do you think that no one in the human race will object? The Celestial Arch shook his head. At this moment, with a wave of his hand, a water screen appeared in front of him. Many people appeared in the water screen. Some were crying, some were cursing. Are Fong Ping and Zhang Tao trying to kill us? What does killing those people have to do with us? Humans! In the screen, a middle-aged man cursed loudly. He even walked out of the door, shouting that everyone should not be sacrificed by these powerhouses. Fong Ping, Zhang Tao, are these the humans you are protecting? The Celestial Arch chuckled and said, this is the belief in your hearts. How childish. In the past, I also thought so and did so, but do you know? The Celestial Arch sighed and said, more than 30,000 years ago, I was traveling in the continent. At that time, the continent was in chaos. The martial god and sword god fought and affected the heaven division. The heaven division was destroyed, and the survivors were less than 100. The Celestial Arch shook his head and said, when I rushed back, everything had already happened. I saved the survivors, but do you know how they treated me? The Celestial Arch said, sorrowfully, they scolded me, said that I should not have traveled to the continent. They were angry at me, said that I should not have come back so late. This is the tribe I am protecting, the heaven division one am protecting. You think that I want to avenge the tribe? The Celestial Arch chuckled and shook his head. No, I just don't want all this to happen again. The three realms actually does not need love, does not need protection. These ants do not need to be too good to them. As long as they have food to eat and don't starve to death, it's fine. Cultivating martial arts, cultivating Tao, these are our prerogatives. What virtue or ability do they have? What right do they have to blame us after obtaining everything under our protection? The Celestial Arch laughed and said, therefore, the true peace of the three realms is not what you think, but the separation of gods and humans. We are gods, they are humans, ants. When we need them, they should sacrifice for us, die for us. Now, I need them to help me repair the source land, repair the source, so they should do it. The Celestial Arch smiled and looked at the people below. This is the true martial path, the true immortal path. There is no need for everyone to become immortals. There is no need for so many martial artists, so many powerhouses. Today, use the Tao of these people to repair the source land. Then the three realms will naturally be at peace. We can continue to be our immortals. Isn't that good? There are no martial artists who can fly everywhere. Only us, the Celestial Arch, looked at the crowd and smiled. What do you think? King Wu's expression was calm. Celestial Arch, what do you mean by revealing all this? Zhang Tao didn't care if some of the billions of people were not determined. Even a true god could not make billions of people be united. He was not a god. Zhang Tao also waved his hand, and images appeared in front of him. Don't listen to that bastard's words. If it weren't for those powerhouses to protect us, we would have been destroyed long ago. Everyone, have you forgotten how we managed to survive all these years? How we lived so happily? Martial arts must be fought. Either we die standing, or we live kneeling, or we die kneeling. Are you willing to kneel? Beat this bastard to death. In the images, some old people and even children were beating the middle-aged man from before. Zhang Tao smiled faintly. Celestial Arch, this is the human heart. It is not something that can be reversed by creating some special cases. We don't stop you from killing millions of martial artists today, but tomorrow we will kill billions of living beings to repair your origin. The day after tomorrow, if we are in the mood, we may destroy the world. We don't care today, we don't care tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, we will be the ones to die. At that time, kneeling is already kneeling, but we will still be killed. In that case, why don't I take advantage of the fact that I haven't knelt and fight with you? Zhang Tao smiled happily and said loudly, "Is the human race willing to kneel and wait for death?" No. The roar of the human race sounded everywhere in the three realms continent. Army after army, chi and blood rushed to the sky, shaking the three realms. One by one, the lone warriors cheered loudly. Sacrificing those powerhouses today, they didn't even have their last umbrella of protection. At that time, it would be too late for regret. The human race had long been enlightened. They were not stupid people. Except for a few people who were greedy for life and feared death, how many of the billions of people were willing to believe in the Celestial Arch? Zhang Tao laughed loudly and said, "Celestial Arch, this three realms is no longer the three realms of the past. The people have long been enlightened. Do you think what you said is useful? This is not an era where people eat raw meat and drink blood, nor is it an era where the people are still ignorant. The people of the three realms, especially the human race, they have their own beliefs. They have their own persistence. If you really pity the people, why don't you give up the immortal source? We will think of ways to help you stabilize the source. What do you think?" Zhang Tao smiled brightly. Beside him, Fang Ping said lightly he wouldn't dare. This kind of person has long become a demon, since according to what he said, there were still some survivors in the Heaven Division back then. Then what about the people? I'm afraid they have all died long ago, killed by him. This kind of person, will he pity others? He only cares about himself. Fang Ping said impatiently, "Don't use those bewitching methods of yours. You can't afford to lose face, other than some idiots in the three realms. Who will believe it? When it comes to this, I'm your ancestor. I can't be bothered to bewitch people. You still want to bewitch them. Only some idiots in the catacombs will believe it. Who else will believe it?" As he said that, Fang Ping said coldly, "Are you exchanging or not? 3 for 4 emperors. If you want to exchange, then exchange. If not, then stop talking nonsense." Celestial Emperor said with a faint smile, "Are you willing to exchange?" It was because he sensed them sending people away that Celestial Emperor felt that these people did not want to exchange at all. Did Fang Ping really think that he could not see it at all? Fang Ping said bluntly, "Exchange, but it's not the 3 emperors who break their own Tao. It depends on your ability. 3 open. If you have the ability, then naturally you can break their Tao. If not, then why did you break it? You send the 4 emperors out. I'll let the 3 emperors open the way. This is the bargaining chip. If you agree, then we'll exchange. If not, then forget it." Fang Ping said it clearly. Breaking the Tao was impossible. If you have the ability, you break it yourself. He would expose the location of the 3 emperors' Tao. If you have the ability, you solve it yourself. And this position for the 4 emperors. Celestial Emperor laughed. Hands behind his back, looking at Fang Ping, Celestial Emperor smiled, like the sun. "Fang Ping, do you really think the Tao left behind by the 3 emperors can be used? If the 3 of them are still alive, then they will naturally leave some trouble for me, but they are dead." Celestial Emperor sighed and said, "Dead. It's said that it's the 3 emperors' Tao, but in fact, it's just a small opening. In the past, Yang God left such a big opening, and I can solve it. Do you really think that I can't solve the opening left by the three of them? Fang Ping was no longer cold, and sneered, If you're so awesome, then don't exchange. Celestial Emperor looked at him and said slowly, You're still young. Do you really want to fight me? Xiong and Do have thought about it for many years, but they don't dare. At this moment, Celestial Emperor was very calm. They're afraid that I'll kill them, so they only dare to do some small things, and dare not be my enemy. Do you think you're stronger than them? You'll know when you try. Young, Celestial Emperor sighed. The passion of young people. Maybe he really did not understand. He smiled and did not continue this topic. Celestial Emperor Treadair returned, his back facing everyone, and said with a smile, If that's the case, then come in. The Tao of the three emperors has appeared. I will naturally let the four of them go. They're just slightly bigger ants. This emperor will not go back on his words. Do you dare to come? Fang Ping's expression did not change, and also followed Treadair, walking step by step toward the sun, ambushing Celestial Emperor. He had never thought of this. It was almost impossible. He just wanted to set the place of the decisive battle in the Source Land. It was better than a war in the three realms. As he walked, Fang Ping said, Can Celestial Emperor move the Source Land to misery? Otherwise, this movement is too big, and the three realms are destroyed. I think the immortal Source might not have a good ending. Celestial Emperor smiled and did not say anything. However, the huge sun in the sky, including the Source Land behind the sun, was now moving toward misery. Celestial Emperor controlled the relocation of the Source Land while saying, Fang Ping, you're very special. You came from inside the seed. In fact, if you're willing to cooperate with me, maybe we have a chance to get rid of the seed's control. You can enter the inside of the seed, but we can't. Sometimes it's easier to destroy everything from the inside than from the outside. Celestial Emperor seemed to know everything, chuckling and saying, Jean is very talented and has a lot of ideas. In the past, actually, I also talked to him, hoping that he would cooperate with me, and so did Yang. Unfortunately, Yang is too stupid. He always thinks that it doesn't matter to him. As long as he's happy, he doesn't need to care about anything else. But he doesn't understand. Even if you don't care, there will always be someone who cares. And Jean cares too much. In this three realms, Celestial Emperor only recognized Jean and Yang, feeling that only these two could be compared to him. Unfortunately, Yang God did not care about anything, and Jean cared too much about everything. In his opinion, these two people were flawed. Therefore, the cooperation between the three of them was destined to fail from the beginning. Fang Ping did not care about this, nor did he express too much hostility, following Celestial Emperor, moving toward the Source Land, laughing and saying, You wanted to destroy martial arts back then? You wanted to use the Source Land to kill all the beginner powerhouses? Celestial Emperor laughed and said, Destroy martial arts? No, I just wanted to restore the three realms to normal. At that time, you didn't understand the three realms. The powerhouses were too strong. They had already forgotten their original purpose. After the wild beasts were driven away, these people fought each other, causing chaos in the three realms, countless deaths and injuries. Fang Ping, don't you think that my choice back then was very similar to yours? You think that we people obstruct the three realms, but in reality, at that time, that group of beginner powerhouses also plunged the three realms into chaos. If that's the case, is it wrong for me to want to destroy them? Celestial Emperor said as he walked. You always said that the old antiques should be killed, and the path you're walking, I was walking 30,000 years ago. In reality, you and I are the same kind of people, aren't we? Fang Ping said coldly. I'm different from you. Different? Celestial Emperor laughed and said, Wrong, you and I are the same. Do you think it's wrong for me to cooperate with Seed? But Seed is the founder of the three realms, a god of creation. Is it really wrong for me to cooperate with it? people like Martial God have already overwhelmed the three realms. If it continues to develop, these people will sooner or later destroy the three realms in order to fight for hegemony, causing the three realms to be destroyed. I stopped them, Fang Ping, in ancient times after the end of the Myriad Daos battle. The three realms enjoyed more than 20,000 years of peace. This should be considered my credit, right? More than 20,000 years. Celestial Emperor said softly, if there was no origin Dao back then, do you think those people would go into hibernation? Do you think Dark and the others will give up on continuing the war? They won't. Celestial Emperor shook his head and said, they won't give up, including Yang. He also has ambitions very big to turn the three realms into the world of the living. Isn't that ambition? If he wants to change the three realms into the world of the living, does he need to fight? It definitely will. He is chasing after seed, once he really absorbs seed. Do you understand? The three realms would have been destroyed long ago. So, you think I'm destroying the world. In reality, I'm saving the world. Celestial Emperor said softly, can you say that I'm doing wrong? Was it wrong? Fang Ping said nothing. Now, I need to repair the source. Otherwise, the source land won't last for many years. Once the source collapses, the three realms will be swallowed by the sea of misery. Tell me, sacrificing millions of martial artists today, is I right or wrong? Celestial Emperor said with a smile. Fang Ping, tell me, are you and I considered the same kind of people? Fang Ping said lightly, maybe what you said is right, but I won't distinguish these things. The right and wrong in your eyes are actually not worth a penny in my eyes. What I care about are these people that you don't care about, these millions of martial artists, these billions of ants. My family, relatives, friends, brothers, classmates, teachers, they are all among them. Celestial Emperor laughed again. Fang Ping, how about this, your family and friends? I won't touch them all. Release their Tao. I only need other people to repair my source land. How about that? Your human race has more than 200,000 origin realm martial artists, your family and friends. Do you have 100 people? 1,000 people? Celestial Emperor chuckled and said, I'll let these people go, then what's your choice? Fang Ping's breathing stagnated slightly. Behind him, Heavenly King Zhen, Martial King, and the others followed. At this moment, they also heard this, but at this moment, they did not say anything. Silence. Exhaling softly, Fang Ping said indifferently, my family and friends are not just this many people. Also, those people are my comrades. Let's face the strong enemies together. Fight everywhere, kill everywhere. They are my comrades. Are you willing to give up on collecting their Tao? Celestial Emperor said lightly. Fang Ping, actually, this emperor admires Celestial
you very
Emperor
much,
tilted
and
his
also
head
made the
and
biggest
looked at
concession.
Fang Ping. Why do you
Your
insist on
hatred,
going
your
against
grievances
me?
have
If those
nothing to
people
do
from
with me,
30,000
right?
years ago,
The
and I
killing
have
in the
hatred
land
and
realm and the
grievances
human world
do you?
is just
and I
Hong's
have
arrangement.
This emperor's original intention is only to set up the immortal source so that the three realms martial artists can fill the immortal source. As for the war between you, it is not caused by this emperor. Celestial Emperor said with a smile, I'm telling you all this just to let you understand. Hatred actually does not exist between you and me. You are saving the world. I am also saving the world. You hope to see a peaceful three realms, and I actually hope so too. Extinguishing martial arts or not actually is not important. Killing some people, letting some people go, is actually not important. What's important is the result. And now, the best result is that these people die, the source is repaired successfully, and the three realms will enjoy tens of thousands of years of peace. Such a life, isn't it good? Fang Ping sneered. What you said seems to make a lot of sense. Others all say that I, Fang Ping, can talk. It seems like Celestial Emperor is not far behind. Then let me ask you, if you kill these 10 million martial artists today, next time there is a problem in the source? Celestial Emperor said with a smile. Even if there's a problem again, it will be tens of thousands of years later. At that time, maybe you and this emperor have the same idea, to rebuild the immortal source again. This three realms, there is no shortage of people, using the lives of tens of millions of martial artists in exchange for tens of thousands of years of peace. Why not? Fong Ping, when that day comes, you will understand. This is the best choice. Kill those powerhouses who are disturbing the three realms. You build your second source. I will build my first source in the three realms. Some people walk your path. Some people walk my path. If there is a problem in your source, we can also use the method of a mortal source to solve it. Harvesting leaks, one after another. In Celestial Emperor's eyes, this three realms were leaks that could not be harvested completely. Today, just harvesting some leaks could be exchanged for tens of thousands of years of peace in the three realms. This was not good. There were tens of billions of living beings in the three realms. He only needed those 10 million people. Even if he did not need 10 million people, was there a need for Fong Ping to risk his life for these people? King Wu, don't you want to protect the human race? Celestial Emperor looked at Zhang Tao behind him and said with a smile, don't you not care about sacrifice? Then today, let these millions of martial artists sacrifice once to protect the human race. Are you not willing? You must know, if the war starts, if I really fight with Fong Ping, it does not matter if you kill me. I kill you, the three realms will be worse. There will be more casualties, even destruction. Celestial Emperor sighed sorrowfully. Why bother? People's hearts will change. Even if you protect the human race today, kill me, but hundreds of millions of the human race will die. Millions of families will be broken. Do you think that those who are still alive will really appreciate your kindness? Celestial Emperor sneered. They won't. They will only hate you. You are leading them to death. King Wu smiled and said, so we still have to thank Celestial Emperor for not killing us? Your way of thinking is very strange. You want us to send hundreds of thousands of human heroes for you to kill. If we do not let you kill us, you still think that we are bad people. This way of thinking, really, I cannot agree with you. If the human race also thinks so, then this human race is no longer the human race that I, Zhang Tao, need to protect. I am a guardian. It does not mean that I am a fool. If even the heroes who have protected the human race for countless years can be handed over and sent to the guillotine, then I, Zhang, am not worthy of the word guardian. If that is the case, I would rather fight. They would also be willing to fight. As for the human race, they are also willing to fight. I believe that they will make this choice. Countless historical events have proven this point. A destroyed country is not scary. What is scary is becoming a slave of a destroyed country. Zhang Tao's expression became firm. A destroyed country is better than becoming a slave of a destroyed country. Celestial Emperor, this is our choice. Celestial Emperor shook his head and said no more. A destroyed country, a slave of a destroyed country. Perhaps between powerhouses, it was very difficult to convince each other. He also did not do this useless thing. The void was torn open, revealing the entrance to the source. Celestial Emperor said with a smile, everyone, please. The door was wide open, inviting them to enter. The source was right in front of them. How many people dared to enter? Chapter 1476. How many dared to enter? All of them. Fong Ping stepped in directly. King Wu followed. Then Heavenly King Zhen, God Cast, and Cat came in. Not just them. Behind them, Wang Jinyang, Li Hansong, and Yao Chungjun also came in. In the source land, someone was waiting for them. In the distance, Shuxiang, Heavenly Hound, Dragon Transformation, and Qin Fengqing were waiting for them. 12 powerhouses. Powerhouses above 9 were all captured in one fell swoop. Those related to the human race. Those who were on good terms with the human race, except for Li Changsheng, who disappeared. The rest were all here. 12. in the source land, in another world, Emperor Heaven Reverse and Emperor God were watching. On the other side, Emperor Donghuang was watching. Farther away, Emperor Spirit was also watching. In the three realms, including Emperor Heaven, there were 17 powerhouses in the source land. There were only a few people who had broken through to the 9th level who had yet to arrive. Sun God had not arrived, Emperor West had not arrived, and Li Changsheng had not arrived. These 20 people were at the peak of the three realms. Today, 17 people gathered at the source land. In the Bitter Sea, West Royal Palace was revealed. Heaven's Pole looked at the sky, watching those people disappear one after another. There seemed to be black dots on the sun. Heaven's Pole turned to Emperor West and said, embarrassed, "Old man, are you really not going?" Emperor West cursed in a low voice. "What am I going to do? Get myself killed." Son of AB asterisk TCH, you want me to die and give West Royal Palace to you, don't you? Heaven's Pole was speechless. He said gloomily, "Nonsense. But if they fight and break the source land, you won't have a good ending either. If Fang Ping and the others lose, you won't have a good ending either. Will Emperor Heaven let you go free?" Emperor West snorted, looked up at the sky, sighed, and said gloomily, "Can't these guys stop for a few years and let me live a good life?" They had only been out for a few days. Were they going to fight? Damn bastards. None of them made him feel comfortable. At the same time when Fang Ping and the others entered the source land, Earth, another group of people gathered. Warlord, Jiang, Hao, Li Zhen, Lin Zi, one by one, the Heavenly King Stage powerhouses were gathered here. After the Heavenly King Stage powerhouses, there were many veteran powerhouses. Some were saints, some were emperors. Familiar faces appeared under the sunlight. The detective department's Nan Yunyue, the Southern Guardian Palace's Wu Chuan, the Western Guardian Palace's Zhang Weiyu, the Northern Guardian Palace's Chun Haotian, and the newly appointed Eastern Guardian Palace's Chen Yaozu. There were also a few neo-martial artists who had fought for many years. Sect Alliance Master Zhao Xingwu and Defense Master Kong Lingyuan. There were also demons, the Jiao that looked like the Tengu, the wretched-looking Jiao, and Li Wuji who had just rushed over from the Catacombs continent. The human clan, the demon clan, the ancient martial arts experts, Celestial Emperor Xianji, who had long sought refuge with the human race, Gong Juanzi, who had reached the 7th level of Dao, Gong Yuzi, who had remained silent. They were all experts, and they were all here. This place was under Li Zhen's command today. Li Zhen looked at the sky, not saying a word. At this moment, someone arrived. The void was torn apart, and the newcomer glanced at the experts in the surroundings. He had a humble smile on his face as he softly spoke. "Nether King, it's been a long time." "It's you?" Li Zhen looked at the newcomer, his face grim. "King, why haven't you been hiding? Why have you come to the human race?" King Huai chuckled. "Don't be angry, Nether King." King Huai smiled. "The three realms are about to fall into chaos. I saw that the various tribes of the human race have begun to kill the experts in the catacombs. I saw that Luan and Sherpa have already gone to the Chu-Wu continent. I'm afraid they want to kill Chu-Wu to prove their Tao. I saw that King Feng and King Qian have also gone there. They either want to fish in troubled waters or they want to be the oriole behind the mantis stalking the cicada. As for the Chu-Wu Heavenly Kings, they are also prepared to fight. It seems that they all want to finish off their opponents at this time, be it the Emperor realm or the Chu-Wu realm." King Huai smiled. "I thought that the human race should also be making a move. On the human race's side, I don't see many heavenly kings outside. They seem to be in the human realm, so I came to take a look." Li Zhen looked at him coldly. "You want to die?" I don't want to. King Huai smiled. "Don't misunderstand. I see that everyone is gathered here. Given the personalities of King Human and King Marshall, they are not the kind of people who would sit around and wait for death. They will not let everyone stay idle. So many people, so many heavenly King martial artists. King Huai looked for a while, then smiled. Everyone, are you going to deal with those heavenly kings and Chu Wu realm martial artists, or even kill an emperor? King Huai sighed. When an emperor proves his Tao, the immortal source will mature a lot. Given the personalities of King Marshall and the others, they will not let the immortal source mature. As for the celestial arch, he must have made arrangements. Today, someone will definitely prove his Tao and become an emperor. In that case, I think I should have guessed what your mission is. Kill an emperor. Kill whoever proves his Tao and becomes an emperor? Isn't that right? Kill an emperor. Yes, the purpose of these people gathering here was to kill an emperor. Previously, the Celestial Arch and Fong Ping had restrained each other, so Fong Ping and the others could not attack those Chu Wu realm martial artists. Today, both sides had entered the immortal source. Given the personalities of King Fong and the Monster Arch, as well as Luan and Sherpa, they would definitely go to the Chu Wu continent today to kill the Chu Wu realm martial artists and prove their Tao and become an emperor. Regardless of whether becoming an emperor was beneficial to the human race or not, at this time, they would all become emperors. If they did not become emperors, they would be sacrifices to the immortal source. After becoming emperors, the Celestial Arch would most likely not kill them. Even if he did, he would keep their Tao fruits. This was a chance to revive. If they did not become emperors, they would definitely die. Because of this, no one would give up this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. King Huai was very smart. He had guessed that the human race would not give up, would not let those people succeed. They would make a move. Li Zhen looked at King Huai and said coldly, "You want to interfere?" "I don't dare. I don't dare." King Huai smiled. "How would I dare? I just want to survive. When the immortal source matures, I will definitely die. So, I also want to break through the immortal source, but my strength is limited. I also want to become an emperor, but I am only at breaking 7, still far from becoming an emperor. Since that is the case, I can't become an emperor, so I can only destroy the immortal source so that it cannot mature, and the Celestial Arch cannot harvest it. I am afraid of death, but at this time between certain death and certain death, I want to try. I believe that King Human and King Wu will help you kill an emperor. What do you think?" King Huai smiled. "It is all for survival. I am too weak. If I rely on the Celestial Arch, the Celestial Arch will look down on me. It is better to cooperate with you. If we can kill an emperor, we can shake the immortal source, and the Celestial Thearch's strength will be weakened." King Huai looked at Li Zhen and cupped his hands. "Nether King, what do you think?" Li Zhen looked at him coldly. On the side, where King also looked for a while and suddenly smiled. This guy is greedy for life and afraid of death, but he is not afraid of death at the crucial moment. "Li Zhen, let him join us." "Old Ancestor Jiang, let him join us." Where King smiled. "No problem. It's fine if you don't want to move with us. Stay away from us, lest we fall into your trap. If you want to attack us, we won't stop you, nor will we oppose you. But if you attack us, then you'll die." King Huai smiled. "I dare not." As they spoke, another person came. Di Xing, this martial artist who had always accompanied Taoist Fengyan, was also a sage, even close to the heavenly king realm. Di Xing flew through the air, looked at everyone, and said in a low voice, "Before Lord Fengyan left, let me come to the human race. Whether I live or die, I will fight, so that my life will not be in vain." As soon as he said that, a few more people arrived. The Ming Dynasty Dizun, who was threatened by Fong Ping in misery, Sage Yue, who stayed to guard Wanwu Mountain after Moon's spirit disappeared, and Sage Lin Hai, who was under the celestial extermination arch. Among these people, some had broken through to the heavenly king realm, and some had become sages. They were all very powerful. Legion looked around and said in a low voice, "You want to move with us?" Sage Yue chuckled. "If Nether King doesn't mind, I will move with you. Master is dead, junior sister. Sigh, today, if we don't become emperors, we will die. The celestial arch wants to kill us. No matter what, fighting is better than directly sacrificing us." Boom. At this time, before the battle at the Immortal Source, a battle had already broken out in Chu mainland. Someone had attacked. Today, those who did not become emperors had to die. In that case, everyone had to fight, kill Chu, and become emperors. As for Chu, he also hoped to kill those people, break through 9, and weaken the Immortal Source. At this moment, there was no room for compromise between the two sides. They could only kill. As for hoping that Fong Ping and the others could win, if the Celestial Arch was so easy to kill, he would not be the Celestial Arch. Seeing this, Li Jin took a light breath and suddenly shouted, "Go to Chu mainland." Buzz. The void shattered. A group of powerhouses rushed there. Their mission was to stop people from becoming emperors. Not even Luan and Sherpa. Emperors were enemies. When a person became emperors, the maturity of the Immortal Source skyrocketed. This was something the humans could not tolerate. No one could go against it. As for the few Chu, after the turmoil, there were more heavenly kings of origin than Chu heavenly kings. Now, there was also chaos. Today, Li Jun and the others also wanted to help Chu, the underworld god, and the others might not be able to resist the origin powerhouses, and they might not be able to resist the rebellious Chu powerhouses. Many Chu had already switched to origin. Today, the 3 realms were in chaos. Origin, Celestial Emperor, and Fong Ping saw the turmoil down below. But at this moment, the origin was quiet. Celestial Emperor watched for a while and smiled. See that? That is the human heart. Seal these people in the hope that they can become emperors. In this way, they will not become sacrifices. As for whether or not the Immortal Source matures after they become emperors, it has nothing to do with them. As for Chu and the others, many of them had switched to origin. Now, they can't help it anymore. They all want to live, including Sherpa and Luan. They want to live too. Therefore, they are also fighting, hoping to prove their Immortal Source. Fong Ping, Zhen, you don't want the Immortal Source to mature, but it doesn't mean others don't. They don't believe that you can defeat me. Fong Ping did not look at him. Instead, he looked at the sovereigns in the distance and smiled. Emperor God, Emperor of Heaven, reverse. Do you still hope that he will let you go? Emperor God laughed. Let us go. I know that he wants us dead. How can he let us go? But aren't you the same as him? Emperor God laughed. You used to call yourself Celestial Emperor. In fact, you are the same as him. If you win, will you let us go? You won't either. As the Divine Emperor spoke, he smiled again and said, "So, this is your battle, not ours." Fong Ping sneered, a little disdainful. Emperor God was not angry. He said lightly, "It's hard for you to defeat him. When you lose, we can try again. Maybe there's a chance." Fong Ping, don't you want to try? I prefer to kill the third party. Fong Ping's tone was cold. Emperor God laughed. No, you won't like it. If you kill us now, Celestial Emperor will not agree. Celestial Emperor, right? Celestial Emperor was also smiling. He looked at Fong Ping. They can't die now. His and Doja's origin is too deep. If I kill them, the origin will be shaken and I will be involved. So if I die, you can kill them. If I live without you guys to worry about, I will think of a way to finish them. If I seal the origin, they won't have a chance. Killing these two would implicate Celestial Emperor. Similarly, Celestial Emperor was not too worried that these two would attack him now, because the origin was still under his control. They restrained each other for fear of harming the innocent. This was the main reason why they had not broken out in battle for so many years. Fong Ping smiled and did not say anything more. Old Wang, go to Senior Shuxiang and the others and open the 3 doors. Let the seniors leave with the Dao fruit before coming in. Now, Shuxiang and the others could not play a big role in the origin. Celestial Emperor controlled the origin. They could not exert much strength at all. Heavenly Hound said loudly, I don't want to come in anymore. I won't come back if I leave. Big Dog, don't not come back. The Ash Cat yelled. Heavenly Hound was a little embarrassed. He snorted and did not say anything else. Celestial Emperor smiled and did not say anything. He watched Wang Jinyang and the others leave. He did not need to kill them. He only needed to let the 3 of them open their Dao, open all of them, so that he could control the location of the 3 Dao. That was enough. The 3 Emperors' Dao was revealed. This was not something that could be solved by killing a few people. Now, it was the chance to break through all the restraints. In the next moment, a Dao appeared in the distance in the sky. Celestial Emperor's Dao. Senior Shuxiang, get out! Fong Ping shouted. Shuxiang did not waste any time. He stretched out his hand and waved. The Dao fruit was in his hand. However, a strong suction force came from behind. A force emerged from Celestial Emperor's body and quickly dispelled the suction force. He smiled and said nothing. Shuxiang did not waste any time and quickly left through the Dao. After a while, Shuxiang appeared. This time, he did not appear outside the origin, but beside Old Wang. Thank you, young master. Shuxiang smiled. At this moment, he was very happy, staying by the young master's side. Maybe this was the best ending. Ironhead, open the way. Fong Ping shouted. In an instant, another door opened. Heavenly Hound, dragon transformation, leave. On the other side, Qin Fengqing said gloomily, why don't you add me in? Celestial Emperor laughed. If you leave and he doesn't open 3 Dao, wouldn't it be a waste of effort? Qin Fengqing said lazily, whether he's stupid or not, I'm not that important. Even if the 3 of us leave, he won't let go no matter whether I leave or not. Why don't we just kill Fong Ping now? He never keeps his word. Fong Ping did not speak. Celestial Emperor did not speak either. It was as if he firmly believed that Fong Ping would open 3 Dao. Qin Fengqing was the last to leave. Qin Fengqing said lazily and did not say any more. He sighed. Once 3 Dao are opened, Celestial Emperor will kill me. I might not be able to leave. How pitiful. Why don't we not open it? Just open 2 Dao. 3 is not bad either. I'm so kind and selfless. Old Yao, don't open the way. Let me die. Yao Chengjun glared at him and did not reply. Qin Fengqing chuckled. Why are you glaring at me? When you open 3 Dao, that old man will definitely attack. I might not be able to leave. Celestial Emperor, don't you think so? Celestial Emperor chuckled. It's fine. I can wait for you to come out before attacking. He said it calmly and easily. I can wait for you to come out. Qin Fengqing was provoked and said, unhappily, are you looking down on me because you think I'm insignificant? On the other side, Ironhead was sweating profusely. He opened the way to let the 2 powerhouses leave. Upon hearing that, he scolded, I'm the main character now. Qin, you're stealing my limelight now. Do you want to be the main character? This is too much. It's rare to be the main character in this life. At this time, you, Qin Fengqing, actually want to steal the limelight. This is too much. Qin Fengqing shrugged and said helplessly, Who treats you as the main character? You're thinking too much. Ironhead was furious. At this moment, he seemed to have forgotten where he was. He scolded angrily, "You bastard! How dare you speak to me like that? I've always suspected that you're a dog, or a servant of the celestial Thearcha's family. How dare you speak to me like that?" Qin Fengqing's face was dark. "I've long disliked you. I heard that the celestial Tharch has always disliked the heavenly hound. Tell me, are you a descendant of the heavenly hound?" Woof! In the air, the heavenly hound, who was transporting the Tao fruits, looked at Qin Fengqing with a puzzled face. "Descendant of this Tharch? This Thearcha's descendant is like this?" Qin Fengqing's face became darker. "This is too much." Ironhead wanted to find fault. Celestial Emperor looked at them playing around. He smiled and lamented, "It's good to be young." Young people were full of vigor. Unfortunately, he was also old. However, after today, he would solve all his problems, so he should not be old anymore. While the two were quarreling, the heavenly hound and dragon transformation had finished transporting the Tao fruits. Soon, they appeared beside Ironhead. At this moment, everyone looked at Yao Qingjun. The third and final Tao were about to appear. The Celestial Emperor saw everyone's solemn expression and said with a smile, "Don't panic. I've locked on to the positions of the three Tao. It's only a matter of time before I break the Tao. I'm not in a hurry." He really was not in a hurry. Once he found the positions of the three Tao, the rest were just minor details. "Old Yao, clear the path." Boom! In the air, the third Tao appeared. The Celestial Emperor looked at the sky and smiled. All three Tao had appeared. "Ha ha ha!" The Celestial Emperor laughed loudly. He looked at the God Emperor and Do and said with a smile, "The two of you have been concealing the existence of the three Tao all these years. Today, I still found out." The God Emperor sighed, softly. Soon he smiled and said, "If you find out, then you find out. Only when you find out is it. Dead has no value." That makes sense. The Celestial Emperor also smiled brightly. He did not watch Qin Fengqing leave with the Tao fruit. He took a light breath and looked down at the three realms, murmuring, 30,000 years ago, the path was opened. Today, it's time to seal the Tao. The immortal source should mature. As soon as he said that, the immortal source shone brightly. At this moment, the three realms' energy was shockingly rich. Countless martial artists broke through realms in an instant. No, it was not a breakthrough. It was not them who walked on the Tao. It was the Tao that pulled them forward. Powerful, strengthened. The origin of the Tao, 1,000 miles in a day. Rumble. People kept breaking through and advancing. Some rank 6 and rank 7 martial artists even stepped into the Tao directly. Their bodies were not strong enough. Their mentality was not strong enough. When the Tao stepped, the increase was too strong. Their strength went out of control. In this instant, countless people died. The Celestial Emperor did not care. He only cared about the strength of the Tao. Among 10 million people, 100,000 people successfully advanced to rank 9. This was success. There would always be people who would not die. After planning for so many years, how could it be easily broken by Fang Ping and the others? The Tao, "If you don't walk, I'll force you to." Kill. In the catacombs, the MCMU army went crazy. One after another, powerhouses suddenly advanced. There were many catacombs martial artists. At this moment, countless people broke through to rank 9. The immortal source shone brightly. There were people constantly advancing. The immortal source was about to mature. "Kill! Kill them all!" Wu Quishan roared. His sword pierced through a true God realm expert, tearing his opponent into pieces. above the immortal source, a blood vessel exploded. Blood rained down, but before it could land on the ground, it evaporated. Today, there would definitely be countless phenomena. No one had the heart to watch, no heart to feel sad. They were just seeking survival. The human race was like this, the catacombs was like this, Heavenly Emperor was like this, Fong Ping, and the others were like this. At this point, there was no longer a distinction between friend and foe. Killing, perhaps, was the best way to solve the problem. And at this moment, heaven and earth shook. In the source, there was a rumble of an explosion. Heavenly Emperor's laughter was heard. You can't stop it. The immortal source will definitely mature today. You guys can't stop it. The immortal source is mature. The source is sealed. Those who enter today, don't go out. Calm down. Fong Ping, who was usually talkative, did not reply at all. A long saber covered the three realms and slashed out. Kill. Kill Heavenly Emperor, and the immortal source's predicament will be solved. Bang. Chu continent. A few of the 8 breakthroughs broke through one after another. Some broke through 2 gates. Some broke through 3 gates. Everyone was overjoyed. They knew that Heavenly Emperor did this on purpose. He wanted them to become stronger, to kill Chu, to become an emperor, to help him complete the transformation of the immortal source faster. Even though they knew that this fruit was poisonous, they still had to eat it. The immortal source was about to mature. Even if they did not achieve Tao, it would be soon. Once it matured, it would be their time to die. At this moment, they could only achieve Tao. Seal, trap them, intimidate them. The monster emperor roared, transforming into a Kuan Peng. Its giant claws instantly attacked Skyarm. Formation. King Qian roared. Beside him, many divine sect martial artists appeared. These people were very powerful. There were many sages. At this moment, between heaven and earth, a giant net appeared. 36 sage formation. In the past, the formation used by the 36 sages to deal with the 8 kings was now used by him to seal the Chu Heavenly King. Chu Heaven and Earth. On Chu's side, the Heavenly Kings roared. Their bodies turned into the earth, the sky, the clouds, the wind, and the rain. Blood rained down. No one cared about it anymore. Today, there was no end to the killing. The only way to stop the killing was to kill. All sorts of divine weapons and Chu divine weapons appeared. The powerhouses from all 4 sides were in a mess. Some wanted to achieve Tao. Some wanted to use up the powerhouse's source to delay the maturation of the immortal source. They wanted to buy time for them. Killing broke out instantly. It also reached a climax. White Tiger. A mournful roar was heard. With a loud bang, the sky exploded. A huge planet exploded, and the heavens fell, and the earth cracked. A new monster, Heavenly King, was killed instantly and died on the spot. Bang! Another explosion. A Heavenly King who had transformed into the Chu Heaven and Earth was destroyed by King, General the Chu Heavenly King, who had transformed into the Chu Heaven and Earth died instantly. Blood rained down. At this moment, the 3 realms were bathed in blood. Killing. Angry roars. Even inside the catacombs, the Chu Heavenly Kings were killing each other. They killed the 9th grade powerhouses and the top powerhouses. They killed them to delay the maturation of the immortal source. At this moment, the hatred in their hearts was exploding. If you don't die, the immortal source will mature immediately. We will all die. Even if killing you can only delay it for a while, we will still kill you. Killing was happening everywhere. The continent formed by the fusion of Earth. At this moment, it was extremely quiet. Blood rained down continuously. In all directions, the heavens fell and the earth cracked. However, this continent was extremely quiet. The weak were praying for blessings while the powerhouses were either protecting the four directions or fighting in the four directions. This is the Golden Age. Even if it's the last moment, let us enjoy the glory of the Golden Age. At this moment, a powerhouse shouted and laughed loudly. Everyone, today we welcome the Golden Age. Chapter 1478. A flourishing age under blood. A flourishing age where countless human powerhouses fought and bathed in blood. Looking at the godlike shadows in the void, countless people wept bitterly. The powerhouses were fighting and the weak were enjoying peace. Blood peace. The martial king said, "It was better to perish than to be slaves." If there were some who did not understand before, at this moment, some people understood after seeing the chaos in other continents. This was the human race. The human race did not want to be slaves. As for the catacombs, it was obvious that they wanted to be slaves. They were also struggling to survive, but they did not have the protection of powerhouses like the neo-martial artists. They did not have the unity of the neo-martial artist spirit. At this moment, the entire catacombs was in chaos. Fighting broke out. Blood flowed like a river. Those above rank 9 were fighting. Those below rank 9 were also fighting. The more they killed, the stronger they became. The more they killed, the fewer powerhouses there were, and the later the immortal source matured. This way, he would be able to live for a period of time. Only the human race was still resisting the enemy, not in chaos. The huge Earth continent was filled with the sounds of fighting and screams. Only the human continent was still prosperous. In the pouring rain of blood, everyone was looking at the godlike shadows, praying for them. They hoped that the human race could prosper forever. They hoped that the human powerhouses could defeat the enemy and live forever. However, how could there not be deaths when the war started? Even if the catacombs, beginner martial artists, and demon top-notch powerhouses were not as many as the human race, there were still many middle-level and low-level powerhouses. At this moment, in the void, suddenly a godlike shadow collapsed. Fallen. The shadows of the human powerhouses were now guarding the human race, guarding the human continent. At this moment, in the southwest corner, a shadow collapsed. Those who could display the godlike shadow were at least desperate realms. And now fallen, killed on the spot by a demon powerhouse. Southwest corner. In an army, a young man's eyes were about to pop, wailing loudly. Father. Bai Yin. In the past, Nanjing Martial Arts University's student who participated in the first Martial Arts University Championship was a peak rank, one like Fong Ping. His father was a high-ranking member of the Nanjing military. Today, the southwest border was guarded by 3 provinces' powerhouses. Bai Yin's father was one of them, a desperate realm powerhouse. His mission was to stop all wandering powerhouses from entering Earth. And now, Bai Yin's father had died in battle. Father! Bai Yin's eyes felt like they were going to split apart. He roared out explosively, and the great Tao condensed in the sky as he verified the peak of the Tao. Kill! Bai Yin instantly charged towards the front lines. Protect Earth. Their mission was to protect Earth and prevent it from being disturbed by other parties. They wanted to enjoy the last period of prosperity and peace. His father had died in battle, and a hole had appeared in the defensive line. Some powerful demons were about to enter Earth. These demons had already gone crazy. The entire Catacombs continent, the Chu continent, and even the Embittered Sea were fighting and killing. Only Earth was safer and more peaceful. These humans and demons all wanted to enter Earth, whether it was to create a massacre or to avoid the chaos of war. Earth was the only place where they could take a breather. There were also some people who wanted to carry out their final madness. The humans had been massacring the various continents, So they also wanted to take revenge on the human race. At this moment, a large number of powerhouses began to charge toward Earth. Boom! The battle resumed. On the front lines, experts fought against the heavens and the earth with their flesh and blood. Blood flowed like rivers, and corpses were strewn everywhere. Charge! Kill my way into the human world. The human race wants to slaughter the three realms. If we kill our way into the human world, the human race powerhouses won't dare to kill wantonly. This is the only way to survive. Kill our way in and hide in the human world. The human race powerhouses won't dare to act recklessly, some people roared. Some demons transformed into their true forms, covering the sky. Only by killing their way into the human world and making the human race powerhouses hesitate would they have a chance to survive. Otherwise, they would soon be killed by the human race powerhouses. The massacre began. There was endless killing at the border. In the north, Han Su was fighting one against three Emperor Realm powerhouses. Han Su, who had just entered the Emperor Realm not long ago, was now covered in wounds. Boom! A crab-like demon's pincer exploded the void. Han Su quickly retreated, but his calf was still cut off by the pincer. Blood gushed out. Han Su's face was covered in blood. His face, hidden under his ferocious expression, was extremely pale. He couldn't hold on anymore. He couldn't fight three emperors alone. A large number of human powerhouses were killing the catacombs powerhouses. Some of them went to the Chu continent to support the beginner powerhouses. At this moment, the human race's defense line was shaky. He couldn't retreat. Kill! The spear was like a dragon, mixed with specks of blood. With one thrust, the three emperors had countless more wounds. Kill him! This person is the human CCMAU's #1 powerhouse. If we kill him, CCMAU's defense line will definitely collapse. The three emperors seem to know Han Su, this genius martial artist who was the same age as Fong Ping was not a nobody. If Han Su was killed, CCMAU's defense line would have one less top powerhouse. Die! Han Su waved his spear and roared again and again. His aura was like a dragon, but he still couldn't stop himself from getting injured. His injuries were getting more and more serious. He was about to be killed by one of the demon powerhouses on the spot. At this moment, an axe broke through the air. Boom! This axe directly broke the demon's giant claw. Han Su, your sister is here. Someone laughed loudly. In the distance, the petite Ling Yi stepped on the air and called back her giant axe. Her body was also covered in blood and wounds. Just a few minutes ago, this female martial artist, who was competing with Fong Ping for first place in rank 3, had just killed an emperor powerhouse. Now, she came to the rescue. I am the CCMAU's #1 powerhouse. When did it become Han Su's turn? Ling Yi hooted. She held the giant axe in her hand. The giant axe was bigger than her. Holding the axe, she attacked quickly. She said angrily, "Have I, Ling Yi, been forgotten? CCMAU's #1 powerhouse. I am." At the back, Han Su, who was panting, watched Ling Yi fight 3 powerhouses alone, killing the other party and forcing them to retreat. He could not help but laugh. "Senior, isn't CCMAU's #1 powerhouse Senior Li?" "Bah!" Ling Yi scolded. "He's a traitor. He betrayed CCMAU long ago and went to MCMAU. That's a guy from MCMAU. I am the CCMAU's #1 powerhouse." Han Su panted and recovered his vitality. He chuckled. "Be careful that Senior Li comes after you. I'm afraid of him." Ling Yi's axe cracked the giant crab's shell. She said arrogantly, "If he can come back alive, then he'll come after me." Come back alive. Could she do it? She did not know. And could she wait until Senior Li came back to find trouble with her. Ling Yi's heart was bitter. She did not know. She hoped that day would come. The catacombs' powerhouses had gone crazy. The demons had gone crazy. The powerhouses of Chu mainland had gone crazy. At this moment, battles were erupting in all directions. Many people were attacking Earth's defense line. Some people were fighting to survive. Some people were seeking revenge. And some people were fighting to reduce the number of powerhouses. Han Su recovered for a moment. He quickly joined the battle. The two of them were fighting 3 venerable emperors. Gradually, they gained the upper hand. At this moment, someone roared in anger in the distance. Boom! The sound of self-destruction was heard. Han Su did not turn around. He did not even look. His eyes were glistening with tears. A CCMAU's top powerhouse had self-destructed. Zhang Jingguang, the student who also represented CCMAU and participated in the first martial arts university championship, had self-destructed at that moment. There were too many powerhouses. There were more than 10 true gods attacking the defense line. Radiant, someone roared in anger. He was grief-stricken. His iron fist punched out. With a boom, a true god powerhouse exploded. Fang Wenxiang, the descendant of Donghu Fang family, a member of CCMAU's first martial arts university championship. He was a genius martial artist second only to Han Su. His grandfather was a veteran grandmaster and a good friend of Lu Fengru. However, because her daughter died in the catacombs, Lu Fengru did not have a good relationship with him. During the first championship, she even specially ordered Fang Ping that if he did not defeat Fang Wenxiang of the Donghu Fang family, he would deal with Fang Ping when he returned. At this moment, Fang Wenxiang's iron fist shook the sky. He killed a true god powerhouse with one punch. But soon, 3 true god powerhouses surrounded him. Wenxiang, be careful! Someone rushed to the front line again and began to stabilize the defense line. They could not participate in the peak battle. They could not even go to other continents to fight. However, it was their responsibility to protect Earth's defense line. The military department had ordered that as long as one person survived, powerhouses from other continents were not allowed to enter Earth. Defend against the enemy. For hundreds of years, humans had always adhered to this policy and principle. Killing only happened outside of Earth. As long as the powerhouses were not destroyed, there would be prosperity. Kill! Kill! Han Su and the others roared one after another. Rumble! Behind them, countless energy cannons began to bombard the catacombs, bombarding the martial artists who were all over the mountains and plains. Flesh and blood flew everywhere, and corpses were everywhere. The 3 realms were in complete chaos. Rumble! Sounds of self-destruction rang out. Some were from humans, and some were from other continents. At this juncture, on the brink of destruction, who would not fight with their lives? The sounds of self-destruction were endless. Blood sabers constantly condensed. The blood saber art, which perished together with humans, appeared frequently today. Human powerhouses fell one after another in the rumbling sound. Godlike phantoms became fewer and fewer. However, the defense line on all 4 sides was still impregnable. No matter how many powerhouses attacked, the rear was still prosperous and peaceful. They had done it to protect the human race. In the 100 years of new martial arts, what was strong was not martial arts, but the heart of martial arts, the heart of protection. This was passed down by the older powerhouses. At the beginning of martial arts, the martial arts universities and the military department all demanded that the enemy be defended against the enemy outside. Killing outside of Earth. Death was today's theme. However, the number of powerhouses who died was still not as many as the number of powerhouses who were born. The Great Path, today, drove everyone forward. Even if 1 in 1,000 people stepped into the origin, among these tens of billions of people, there would be countless people who could step into rank 9. The immortal source was getting hotter and hotter, brighter and brighter. The immortal source was also maturing faster and faster. In the source, Celestial Emperor was smiling. Opposite, Fang Ping's expression was solemn. Celestial Emperor was very strong. Even if Fang Ping's combat strength had skyrocketed, at this moment, when fighting with Celestial Emperor, he was still retreating. Very strong. Celestial Emperor praised. He was praising Fang Ping. In this 3 realms, you, Sun God, and I have all broken through that limit. You are very strong. Even John, who had not achieved Tao in the past, could not reach this level. You are already stronger than John in the past. It's a pity, Celestial Emperor said regretfully. It's a pity that you have just entered this realm. Your strength has skyrocketed, and your second source is also not stable. How can you be a match for me? I stepped into this realm 30,000 years ago. If you and I fought 30,000 years ago, you could still be a match for me, but today, you can't. Yes, Fang Ping had already stepped into the realm of him and Sun God. However, vitality had been reached, but it did not mean that everything had been reached. Compared to him and Sun God, Fang Ping was still a little lacking. Even with the help of Heavenly King Subduing and Martial King, at their realm, the 2 of them might be able to fight against Dong Huang and the others, but against him, the difference was too big. If I can't, how long can you last? Fang Ping sneered. His figure like light, holding a saber and attacking, his voice was heard. Godfather, old Zhang, go and break the immortal source. Let's see what he can do. 2 figures like light and shadow left in an instant, attacking the immortal source. At this moment, Dong Huang appeared. Dong Huang blocked the 2 of them. Heavenly King Subduing's face turned green. How? You want to help the evildoer? Dong Huang sighed and said, No, I just don't want the 2 of you to make a big mistake. Celestial Emperor has long been guarding against you destroying the immortal source. Now, the energy of the 3 realms is almost all absorbed by the immortal source to cultivate a large number of martial artists. If the immortal source is broken, it is no longer the source that Celestial Emperor controls, including the 3 realms continent. Once the immortal source is broken, the 3 realms continent will lose its energy support, collapse, and be swallowed by the sea of bitterness. Dong Huang showed a helpless look, sighed, and said, The immortal source cannot be broken. At this moment, we can only stop Celestial Emperor from absorbing the immortal source, stop the immortal source from maturing. On the other side, Celestial Emperor laughed lightly. The clouds were light, and the wind was gentle. His defense was airtight. He let Fang Ping attack, smiled, and said, It is not only you who want to break the immortal source, Cheongdo. Don't they want to? They want it too. Unfortunately, if I don't die, if I don't lose control of the immortal source, how can you break the immortal source? The immortal source was very important to him, very important to the source. How could he not make preparations at all? It was fine to break a few people's Tao, but if it was broken too much, when the immortal source collapsed, the energy of the 3 realms would all collapse, the 3 realms continent would collapse, completely swallowed by the sea of bitterness. You, break. Then kill him. King Wu roared, turned, and continued to attack Celestial Emperor. Since Celestial Emperor had already done something to the immortal source, if he wanted to break the immortal source, it would mean that the 3 realms and the immortal source would perish together. King Zhen Wang roared, Blacksmith, you go, see how the immortal source breaks, hurry up. The God Creation envoy did not delay and quickly flew towards the immortal source. Spirit, kill the creation. Celestial Emperor snorted. The God Creation envoy, the creator of the immortal source, this fellow might really find a way to break it. The Spirit Emperor did not say a word and quickly rushed towards the God Creation envoy. On the other side, Xu Xiang and the others did not hold back and rushed towards the Spirit Emperor. At this juncture, he was either a friend or an enemy. If the heavenly cat dog and the others did not make a move, they would not be able to stop the others from making a move. These people all rushed towards the Spirit Emperor. As for the Spirit Emperor, at this moment, her battle prowess was also unparalleled, and there were even signs of her breaking through 100 million. With a cold face, the few experts that she killed kept retreating, and the God Creation Envoy was her main target. The God Creation Envoy's battle prowess was not considered strong, and was killed by the Spirit Emperor's sword until her flesh and blood flew everywhere. Meow! Woof woof! At this moment, a cat and a dog broke through the air. Big Fatty! The cat rubbed its teary eyes, no longer as lazy as usual, and cried out sorrowfully, "Big Fatty, what are you doing?" Spirit Emperor, do you really have to hook up with the Heavenly Emperor? The Heavenly Hound also roared. 20,000 years ago, you protected the stupid cat. Although this emperor does not like you, this emperor still remembers your kindness of protecting us. Today, that old fellow wants to kill us, and you still want to be in cahoots with him. Kill the stupid cat. Kill this emperor? The Spirit Emperor's expression was indifferent as he said coldly, "Protecting you? It's only the order of the Heavenly Emperor. There's no need to be grateful because there's no kindness in the first place." Woof! The Heavenly Hound was enraged. Its eyes flashed with a fierce light as it opened its mouth to devour the heavens and earth, biting towards the Spirit Emperor. "Stupid cat, there's no need to show mercy. Kill her!" The Heavenly Hound roared. Different paths do not work together. Since the Spirit Emperor insisted on helping the evildoer, then kill her. Boom! The great battle began. Many experts rushed toward Ling Huang to kill him. Not far away, the Eastern Emperor frowned slightly. Although the Spirit Emperor was not weak, there were too many people surrounding her. If this continued, the Spirit Emperor would definitely die. Heavenly Emperor. The Eastern Emperor glanced at the Heavenly Emperor with a faint anger on his face. The Heavenly Emperor was indifferent and did not care about him. He knew that the Eastern Emperor and the Spirit Emperor were close. This was also an overt plot. Would he save her or not? If he did not save her, the Spirit Emperor would definitely die. Humph! The Eastern Emperor snorted coldly, his eyes revealing a faint, blood-red glow, no longer as calm as usual. The blood-red glow flashed and disappeared. In the next moment, he blocked in front of several experts. He did not say anything, nor did he explain anything. He wanted to protect the Spirit Emperor. The Eastern Emperor was a top powerhouse who was not weaker than the earthly emperor. At this moment, when he joined the battle, he instantly suppressed the others. On the other side, the Heavenly King Zhen and the Martial King originally wanted to help Fang Ping, but at this moment, they had no choice but to grit their teeth and attack the Eastern Emperor. At this moment, there was no time for them to hesitate. Whether or not the Eastern Emperor would kill them, they would not let the Eastern Emperor have this chance. Boom! The battle became more and more intense, and the battle between Fang Ping and the Heavenly Emperor had also affected the entire source. Fang Ping destroyed layers of heaven and earth. The Heavenly Emperor was still focused on defense. After blocking Fang Ping's attacks again and again, he still had a smile on his face as he said slowly, "Fang Ping, you want to kill me? Do you think you can do it?" Fang Ping was very strong. He did not deny this. But killing him was really not enough. If he couldn't kill him, after the celestial source matured, no matter how strong Fang Ping was, he would be trapped in the source until he died. In the three realms, there was only one person who could help Fang Ping, the Sun God. But the Sun God was still entangled with the seed. Without the Sun God's help, how could Fang Ping kill him? Boom! The battle in the source was getting more and more intense. In the three realms, The killing was getting more and more frenzied. Die! An angry roar shook the heaven and earth. Between the heaven and earth, a huge figure appeared. Heavenly arms were like dragons, and he grabbed King Jen. Die! Heavenly Arm roared, and a rumbling sound was heard. King Jen's body was crushed, and the Tao appeared. At this moment, the illusory mentality erupted, and the mentality directly turned into a shadow, killing into the Tao. Break! The two top powerhouses roared. King Jen's shadow appeared, and with a ferocious expression, he laughed. The three realms should have been destroyed a long time ago. Even if I die, I won't have an easy time. Someone was watching him die. The monster, the Arch, and the others had the ability to save him, but they refused to do so. He hated the three realms to the core. Don't think about it. Rumble! With a loud bang, a giant star that looked like the sun exploded in the sky. King Jen self-destructed. Heavenly arms were broken, and the illusory mentality exploded. The others were affected. King Jen had just broken through 2 gates. At this moment, when he self-destructed, the weaker heavenly kings nearby were blown into pieces. The moment the giant star exploded, a strong force surged into Heavenly Arm's body. Heavenly Arm's expression changed slightly, and in the next moment his blood boiled, and his strength increased by another 30%. Powerful! This was what the Celestial Arch said. There were benefits in killing the source, and there were also benefits in killing the beginner martial artists. It was to provoke both sides to fight to the death. At the same time, another explosion sounded. Heavenly Arm turned his head and roared, "Saint Martial!" Fire God's disciple, the heavenly king who fought with Fong Ping and the others in the past. Now, he was directly blown up by the monster Arch. Before his life force could dissipate, he was swallowed by the monster Arch. He died, without a burial. Death. Death. It could be seen everywhere on the battlefield. On the other side, the god of the underworld was fighting against Feng, King Qian, Sherpa, and Huan alone. Huan and Heavenly Arms surrounded King Jen and didn't dare to slow down. They rushed over. Just as Heavenly Arm left and Huan moved, a huge cauldron fell from the sky. With a loud bang, Huan's body exploded. Huan was only strong in terms of mentality. His body wasn't strong. In the void, the Palm Seal Envoy walked out slowly. After Li Zhu died, the Palm Seal Envoy didn't show himself. At this moment, he suddenly attacked with the 1,000-world cauldron, catching Huan off guard. Even though everyone was wary of him in the beginning, now that the battle had reached this point, no one was interested in caring about him anymore. The Palm Seal Envoy walked out of the void. He was one of the 3 envoys in the past. Now, he was extremely powerful. The 1,000-world cauldron was a divine weapon that could suppress everything. "Brother Huan, don't blame me," the Palm Seal Envoy chuckled. Flames rose from the 1,000-world cauldron and quickly refined Huan's mentality. Huan kept roaring, but he couldn't break free from the 1,000-world cauldron. This cauldron was refined by the earthly sovereign. "It's to repay me for teaching Li Zhu," the Palm Seal Envoy said calmly. The earthly sovereign was a person who paid attention to detail. That was why he helped him refine the 1,000-world cauldron. It couldn't deal with emperors, but it was an invincible divine weapon against experts like Huan. Boom! Heavenly Arm turned around and punched the Palm Seal Envoy. The Palm Seal Envoy was sent flying. The Palm Seal Envoy coughed up blood, but he smiled brightly. "Heavenly Arm, you and Dark are destined to die. No matter how hard you struggle, you will die." Then the Palm Seal Envoy's aura became stronger and stronger. "You are the people the seeds want." The Palm Seal Envoy murmured, "The 3 realms are the seeds. How can you escape? You and Dark are the few beginners in the 3 realms. So you must die." The Heavenly Emperor wanted to kill them. The seeds wanted to kill them. The Palm Seal Envoy and the others wanted to kill them. The Palm Seal Envoy was getting stronger and stronger. It wasn't because he absorbed Juan, but because he absorbed the seed's power. Boom. 3 gates were broken. The Palm Seal Envoy broke 3 gates. On the other side, the underworld god was furious. You joined the seeds. Bastard. They are the ones who created the 3 realms. You are worse than a dog. In their eyes, you can be abandoned at any time. The Palm Seal Envoy said calmly, "That's better than dying now." Dark, look, is there any hope for the 3 realms? There's no hope. Only by killing all of you will I be able to please them and become the next human emperor. Only then will I have a chance to live and become the representative of the seeds. He couldn't care less. If he didn't succeed today, only death awaited him. He could only kill. Boom. After breaking 3 gates, the Palm Seal Envoy became even stronger. He punched the heavenly arm away and looked at the trapped Juan. He smiled. "Brother Juan, I'll borrow your strength to help me achieve my Tao." Juan's spiritual body was surrounded by flames and trapped in the 1,000 Worlds cauldron. Seeing the Palm Seal Envoy punch the heavenly arm away, he sighed and looked up at the sky. Soon, he smiled. "My old friends are gone. I'm not afraid of death. I'm just afraid of hopelessness. You want to achieve your Tao, and you want to survive. I don't blame you, but can you really succeed?" Juan shook his head and smiled. "Impossible. Palm Seal, I'll go first. I'll wait for you." Boom. Powerful mental energy exploded in the 1,000 Worlds cauldron. The 1,000 Worlds cauldron was full of holes. The Palm Seal Envoy coughed up blood, but he was overjoyed. That powerful force had helped him break his Tao. And at this moment, powerful auras appeared one after another. Kill. Nether King, War King, the Palm Seal Envoy seemed to know that they were lying in ambush. With a cold snort, he took the 1,000 Worlds cauldron and turned to escape. He didn't want to fight with them. He wanted to kill Juan. This powerful force was helping him forge his Tao. He would wait until he confirmed his Tao. Heaven lock! A loud roar rang out, and divine artifacts appeared one after another, sealing off the entire space. Heaven trapping bell, sky gong, flying carpet, fishing net, divine artifacts sealed the area. The Nether King and the others appeared. Li Jun's face was cold. Kill. No one can prove their Tao today. Nether God, heavenly arm, join forces and kill them. Sherpa, Juan, you want to prove your Tao, but you will die. There was no mercy. Prove your Tao and die. Rumble. The experts quickly attacked the Palm Seal Envoy. The Palm Seal Envoy's face turned green, and he quickly fought with them. At this moment, a sword stabbed down from above. Uffed. This sword directly pierced through the Palm Seal Envoy. The Palm Seal Envoy also struck out with his palm. King Huai coughed up blood and crashed into the divine artifact barrier. But he smiled and said, "Thank you, Palm Seal Envoy, for bestowing your Tao." As soon as he finished speaking, he once again strengthened his Tao and attacked again. The battle became more and more intense. One by one, the Heavenly King powerhouses began to fall. Dozens of beginner Heavenly Kings, more than 10 catacombs and demons, and dozens of human Heavenly Kings were all fighting in this circle sealed by the divine artifacts. They were entangled, and people kept falling. Above the immortal source, blood vessels burst. The immortal source that was originally shining brightly gradually calmed down, and soon it shone brightly again. Because in the 3 realms, there were still martial artists constantly stepping onto the Tao of origin, and the number was increasing. An inexhaustible number of experts. The Catacombs continent, Wu Quishan, and the others were panting, looking up at the sky, somewhat helpless, somewhat in pain. Endless. Really endless. How many powerhouses had they killed? Hundreds? Thousands? Tens of thousands? But there were still powerhouses born constantly, and they were also becoming stronger and strengthening the immortal source. If this continued, the immortal source would mature sooner or later. This kind of killing could not stop the immortal source from maturing. Is there no other way? He felt the battle in the source, saw Fong Ping's godfiend phantom fighting continuously, but Celestial Emperor was still as stable as Mount Tai, not taken down by Fong Ping. In a while, the immortal source would mature, and everything would be too late. Is there really no other way? Wu Quishan looked at the endless martial artists around him, feeling even more sorrowful. The immortal source could not be destroyed, and it was constantly maturing. Killing could not stop the immortal source from maturing, and the human powerhouses were also constantly breaking through. If this went on, even if all the catacombs and beginner martial powerhouses were killed, the human powerhouses might still be able to mature the immortal source. Could it be that in order to stop the immortal source from maturing, even the human race had to kill the human race powerhouses? Chapter 1479. Inside the source ground, the battle was getting more and more intense. Wang, Taitu, and Yao did not make a move. They could not interfere in a battle like this, unless they went to kill Spirit Emperor. Even so, they were still weaker. On the side, Qin Fengqing was enjoying the show. He did not seem to be nervous at all. Tai Tu could not stand this guy. What are you looking at? You? Qin Fengqing did not want to be outdone. Aren't you watching as well? Why are you yelling at me? Tai Tu was fuming. There was nothing he could do. Qin Fengqing was not afraid of him at all. Wang, what do we do now? Just stay here and watch. Tai Tu was frustrated. They could not interfere. The source ground was sealed. They could not go down even if they wanted to. All they could do was watch. Wang said nothing. He was still activating the Great Path. Above his head was the passageway, but at the end of the Great Path was his Sanjiao Gate. He could not go out through his Great Path. The moment they came in, the Great Path was sealed. This was what Heaven Emperor wanted to see. If the three did not go into the source ground, Heaven Emperor would not lift the seal. Wang looked at the Great Path in the sky and said nothing. Over there, a few powerhouses besieged East Emperor and Spirit Emperor, but they did not gain the upper hand. Further away, Fang Ping and Celestial Emperor were fighting. Although Celestial Emperor kept retreating, anyone with a discerning eye could see that Fang Ping did not have the upper hand. Heaven Emperor was just waiting for the celestial source to mature. Wang suddenly looked at Emperor of Heaven Reverse and Emperor God and said, "Are you going to keep watching? At this rate, when the celestial source matures, everyone will die. Do you think you can defeat Heaven Emperor?" Emperor God put his hands behind his back, watching the fight between Heaven Emperor and Fang Ping. "What can we do? Do you think the two of us can defeat Heaven Emperor? This is his home ground. Here, our Great Path is trapped by him. We can only use less than 30% of our strength." Emperor Celestial Reverse also sighed. "We can only protect ourselves. Not attacking Fang Ping is already our limit. If we attack, both of us will die before the source collapses." With that said, Emperor of Heaven Reverse turned to Wang Jinyang and sighed, "Heaven Emperor is not so easy to deal with. 8,000 years ago, in order not to be killed by Heaven Emperor, I had to go to the origin and prove my origin. Otherwise, I could have created another path, the path of energy, to create some trouble for Heaven Emperor. 8,000 years ago, he attained the Tao for many reasons. Part of it was his own scheme, but part of it was also because he was forced to do it. He was not as powerful as the Yang spirit. He might be able to open the extreme path again, but at that time, the Sky Emperor obviously would not let anyone open the extreme path again. If he did not prove his way, the Sky Emperor would definitely attack him. Proving his Tao would instead make the Celestial Emperor hesitate to act. But now, whether he succeeded or failed, he also proved his Tao. He, who was trapped in the origin, had many restrictions, especially when facing the Sky Emperor. Of course, the Sky Emperor would not kill them rashly. The two of them were too strong, and their roots were very deep. Killing them could easily cause the origin land to collapse. Qin Fengqing said lazily, "You have lived for so long. Why don't you blow yourself up? If you do, I think half of the origin land will collapse. Even if the Celestial Emperor absorbs the celestial origin, I don't think he will be able to fill the hole." Qin Fengqing egged him on, "Blow yourself up. Kill him. Do it if you are a real man." This guy grinned cheekily. "Why are you so calculative? Real men don't say no. If you blow up half of the origin land, the Celestial Emperor will be weakened. You two have lived for 40,000 years. What are you afraid of?" Qin Fengqing said happily, "If I were you, I would blow myself up. Even if I can't kill him, I will scare this son of a bitch to death. He is such a bully. You have been trapped for 30,000 years. Life is so boring." Emperor of Heaven Reverse grinned and ignored him. Emperor God glanced at him without saying anything. Seeing this, Qin Fengqing dug his nose and laughed. Am I wrong? Also, even if you can't kill the Celestial Emperor, at least kill East Emperor and Spirit Emperor. They are dogs. As he spoke, Qin Fengqing shook his head and yawned. Damn, I thought the seed was dead. He just gave me an order to kill you. I have only reached Taoist realm for a few days. Isn't this asking me to die? Then he turned to Tai Tu and the others. Tai Tu, come and kill him. The seed wants me to help the Celestial Emperor, but I can't find anyone to kill. You come and kill him. He won't die so easily. Li Hansong was livid. Really? If you don't kill him, the seed is going to come after me. My energy is controlled by the seed. Come. Bastard. Tai Tu punched. With a boom, Qin Fengqing was knocked away. Tai Tu chuckled. So weak. Never mind. I choose you. As they spoke, they began to fight. Wang Jinyang looked at Qin Fengqing and frowned. This guy, the celestial origin, cannot be broken, and there is no way to break it. The Celestial Emperor cannot be killed. Lao Wang was also troubled. If this continued, it would be too late when the celestial origin matured. What should he do? He was at his wit's end. Looking at the path in the sky again, Lao Wang pondered for a moment and suddenly looked at Old Yao. Old Yao also looked at him and frowned. He sent a voice transmission. Is it possible? Let's try. The three extreme Daos should be able to merge. Lao Wang hesitated. I wonder how strong we will be after merging. Then he said, after merging, the three Daos will circle around, and maybe we can penetrate the celestial origin again. We will circle around the celestial origin and seize control of it. Are you confident? No. Lao Wang shook his head and sent a voice transmission. It's just a possibility. Jean hasn't tried it before. He just has this thought. After the three Daos merge, we should be able to penetrate the celestial origin. As for whether we can seize control of the celestial origin, even Jean wasn't confident. Otherwise, he would have done it himself. Yao Qingjun glanced at Tai Tu and sent a voice transmission. It was mentioned in the Celestial Destruction Emperor's inheritance. I just don't know how strong we will be after merging. Lao Wang sent a voice transmission. It won't be too weak. They still have one attack left in the divine weapon. My war god bow, your god vanquishing spear, and Tai Tu's emperor armor all inherited great power. If the three Daos merge, we should be able to release it. But Lao Wang hesitated and said, I think we still can't defeat the Celestial Emperor. My idea is not to attack the Celestial Emperor, but to destroy the celestial origin and make it go out of control. You're thinking, yes. Lao Wang's eyes were bright. The three Daos merge. Instead of penetrating the celestial origin, the Sanjiao Gate will penetrate each other, penetrate the celestial origin, and absorb power. Then it will penetrate Fang Ping's celestial origin and transfer the power here to Fang Ping's celestial origin. His celestial origin has no source of power. If he fights for a long time, his power will definitely decline. What do you think, Old Yao? Sure. Yao Qingjun smiled. We can fight against the Celestial Emperor. This is also one of the few things we can help him with. Tai Tu. Old Yao shouted, come back. Ignore that guy. Tai Tu snorted. He sent Qin Fengqing flying with a punch and quickly retreated. Seeing this, Qin Fengqing felt a little helpless. Ignore me? Forget it. Ignore me. I can't be bothered with you guys either. Cat, fight to the death. Qin Fengqing let out a loud roar and charged towards the gray cat. The cat was already unhappy. At this moment, when it saw him charging toward it, it was just holding back its anger. With a meow, it scratched his face. Qin Fengqing looked gloomy. This stupid cat was not good at fighting others, but why was it so good at fighting him? Cat, don't hit too hard. Don't hit people in the face. How about we fight slowly? Qin Fengqing turned around and ran, roaring, "Don't scratch too hard. Don't go overboard. I was just doing it for fun. Don't take it seriously. Don't take it seriously. When you fight, don't go overboard. We'll meet again in the future." Meow. The cat's cry was fierce. "I just want to hit you. I'm very unhappy now. I'll beat you to death." Bang, bang, bang. The war started again. On the other side, King Wu and the others were fighting with Dong Huang and Spirit Emperor. The more they fought, the more dangerous it became. Old Zhang looked at the scorching, immortal source below. He seemed to feel the pressure from the immortal source. His expression changed. If this went on, it would really ripen. What to do? The immortal source could not be destroyed. It could only be delayed to give Fang Ping time and opportunity. Did he really have to do this? Dong Huang, Spirit Emperor, do you have to be enemies with us? Old Zhang made a last effort. He gritted his teeth and said, "If Celestial Emperor really devours the immortal source, do you think you can survive?" Both of them said nothing. Old Zhang gritted his teeth. What were these two people thinking? Even if Celestial Emperor succeeded, did they have a chance to survive? If Celestial Emperor and Emperor God did not participate in the war, they still had a chance to take advantage. Did they really have this chance? At this moment, over there, Fang Ping's expression kept changing. He could not win. If this went on, it would not work. His source was a little shaken. If this went on, and he could not defeat Celestial Emperor, he would collapse. He glanced at Celestial Emperor and Emperor God. He hesitated for a moment. In the next moment, he gritted his teeth and dashed toward them. Boom! As the saber slashed down, the Emperor God also drew his sword in an instant. Then, he retreated dozens of steps. Looking at Fang Ping, he frowned slightly and said mildly, "Fang Ping, I'm fighting with you. I don't want to be your enemy. If you attack us now, that's not a good idea." To be honest, Celestial Emperor and Emperor God were surprised that Fang Ping was provoking them. This was not a good idea. The two of them were not weak even if they worked together. They did not want to attack Fang Ping now, but if Fang Ping wanted to kill them, they would not agree either. They had to fight Fang Ping. Fang Ping could not even defeat one Celestial Emperor. Did he want to fight three at the same time? The Celestial Emperor was a little surprised, but he did not stop Fang Ping. He followed behind Fang Ping and chuckled. "Fang Ping, give up. The immortal source is about to mature. You can't stop it. Cheong Hedu will not let you kill them, and he will not seek his own death. Otherwise, he would have self-detonated years ago." He believed that Celestial Emperor and Emperor God would not sacrifice themselves to help Fang Ping. They had a plan. Of course, it did not matter what plan they had. What mattered was that the plan would not work. Maybe the two of them thought it would work, but Celestial Emperor was confident that it would not. Fang Ping did not care. He attacked the two madly. It would be best if Celestial Emperor did not interfere. Rumble! Loud noises were heard. Fang Ping was more powerful than the two. The two of them were smashed away and bleeding. Emperor of Heaven Reverse and Emperor of God were frowning as well. Emperor God shouted, "Fang Ping, do you want to court death?" Killing them could injure Celestial Emperor. But what about Fang Ping himself? By then, it would be even easier for Celestial Emperor to kill Fang Ping. Fang Ping ignored them and continued to attack the two. With a slash, Fang Ping cut off Emperor God's arm. Then, he turned around and punched Celestial Emperor God. Celestial Emperor frowned. He was still puzzled by Fang Ping's choice. Was it meaningful? Even if he killed the two of them, even if his ground of origin was damaged, how long could Fang Ping last? At this moment, he thought Fang Ping would fight to the death with him. However, Fang Ping suddenly went to kill the two of them. He did not know what Fong Ping was thinking. If so, he would wait and see. Celestial Emperor God and Emperor God were not so easy to kill. If they were so easy to kill, he would have killed them a long time ago. Chaos quell. Armageddon. Fong Ping slashed again and again. He was extremely ferocious, cutting down layers of heaven and earth. Celestial Emperor followed behind, repairing the heaven and earth. At this moment, he did not want to interfere. Interesting. What was Fong Ping doing? Fong Ping. Celestial Emperor God bellowed. Slash marks appeared on his body. He said angrily, "Do you have to be our enemy?" The two of them were frustrated. What was Fong Ping doing? It was meaningless. Fong Ping said nothing and continued to attack the two. Another slash. The Emperor God's body was smashed. Celestial Emperor God punched, and Fong Ping punched back. With a boom, the fist was broken. Celestial Emperor God's fist was broken. Go to hell. Fong Ping clenched his teeth and bellowed. He punched again and slashed at the Emperor God, who came to help. The sky was falling and the earth was cracking. The two of them joined hands, but they could not defeat Fong Ping. Fong Ping's origin was shaking more and more. It was becoming unstable. Celestial Emperor God was enraged. He punched at Fong Ping and kept stepping back, not giving Fong Ping a chance to get close. The Emperor God was also retreating as he fought. He said angrily, "Fong Ping, stop. Do you want Celestial Emperor to see us die together? If I can't kill him, I'll kill you. I'll take you bastards with me before I die." Fong Ping was like a lunatic. His eyes were blood red. The moment he said that, the two of them felt depressed. Fong Ping admitted that he could not kill Celestial Emperor. Therefore, he wanted to take them with him before he died. This guy must be crazy. Celestial Emperor is your biggest enemy. Don't you know that? What's the point of killing us? But Fong Ping did not care. Suddenly, the saber turned into a shadow. With a boom, it pierced through the void and pierced through the Emperor God's chest. The Emperor God was bleeding. His face was ghastly pale. Celestial Emperor God frowned and charged at Fong Ping again. Fong Ping turned around and punched Celestial Emperor God again. Then, he charged at the Emperor God again. Celestial Emperor. The Emperor God shouted, "You still want to watch?" Celestial Emperor had said that as long as he was alive, Fong Ping could not kill them. But now, it seemed that Celestial Emperor did not want to make a move. Celestial Emperor's eyes flickered, but he said nothing. Fong Ping became more aggressive. Kill. Boom. Half of the Emperor God's body was blown up. Celestial Emperor God wanted to help, but was knocked away by Fong Ping again. Fong Ping did not hurt him. Fong Ping focused all his energy on the Emperor God. The Emperor God could not fight against Fong Ping. His body kept exploding. Fong Ping, the Emperor God's expression was even worse. "What the hell are you doing?" Or, "Do you know something?" Fong Ping sneered. "It's not that easy to reap the benefits of others. I thought I could deal with that guy. Turns out I can't. You want me to fight him to the death. Dream on." You explode. Rumble. A deafening roar rang out, accompanied by a muffled groan. The chaos-vanquishing saber had been self-destructed by Fong Ping. As for the Emperor God, more than half of his body was blown up. Only his head was left. At this moment, the head was flying toward the Celestial Emperor. Without using any weapon, Fong Ping swung his fists toward the Emperor God again. "I can't kill the Celestial Emperor, but I can't kill you?" Bastard! The Divine Emperor was furious. He was no longer indifferent. At the same time, Emperor of Heaven Reverse took over the Emperor God's head and kept stepping back. He looked at Fong Ping with a strange look in his eyes. Fong Ping's eyes revealed a hint of mockery. Aren't the two of you going all out yet? Behind him, the celestial Thearcha's eyes flashed again. These two people were very strong. Of course, they had not reached the level of him, Fang Ping and Yangshen. Now, however, Fang Ping said that he did not use his full strength. Could it be that the two of them were still hiding their strength? Emperor of Heaven reverse frowned again. He kept flying backward. He watched Fang Ping for a while. Seeing that Fang Ping was still attacking, Emperor of Heaven reverse frowned. Fang Ping, what is the meaning of this? What do you mean? Fang Ping sneered. I'll kill you, bastard. Emperor of Heaven reverse was infuriated. He looked at the divine emperor, who was recovering quickly. Seeing this, the divine emperor sighed and said no more. Emperor of Heaven reverse understood. He was a little upset. Suddenly, he grabbed the divine emperor, bellowed, and pressed the divine emperor into his body. Boom! Right at this moment, the two heavens and earth began to converge and merge. From the 27th heavens to the 36th heavens, they merged and became one. On the other side, the celestial Tharch was a little surprised. He murmured, "Impossible! How could it be? Battle and the divine emperor were merging. How could it be?" At this moment, Emperor of Heaven reverse said nothing. He squeezed the divine emperor into his body and stared at Fang Ping, his eyes flickering. Fang Ping stopped attacking. He snorted, turned around, and charged at Celestial Tharch. You two merge, and then come back to kill Celestial Tharch. Celestial Tharch was not in the mood to talk to Fang Ping. He punched Fang Ping and forced Fang Ping to take a few steps back. Looking at the two people, Celestial Tharch said in disbelief, "No, we have known each other for 40,000 years. You cannot be the same person. How could this be?" Their situation was similar to King Zhenwang's fusion. This was something that could only be achieved by one person. Why could they do it? Battle and Sky were not the same person. He was sure. They had known each other for 40,000 years. They had known each other for a long time. If they were the same person, they could not hide it from him. At this moment, Dong Huang and the others were also a little surprised. Dong Huang murmured, "Years ago, I think Hong said that you two might be the same person, but Hong is too young. He has never experienced the early stage of martial arts. You cannot be the same person." He was also surprised. Earthly Sovereign had mentioned this before, including in the secret realm, before the Earthly Sovereign's avatar collapsed. He had told Zhang, Hao, and Fang Ping about this. At first, Fang Ping and the others were a little shocked. Later, when they asked about the situation, they found out that the two were old people in the early stage of martial arts. Even King Zhenwang said that they could not be the same person. They did not take it seriously anymore. It was just Earthly Sovereign's wild guess. But today, the two were really starting to merge. Their aura was getting stronger and stronger. It was even about to break the barrier of 200 million. How did the two merge? Emperor of Heaven reverse ignored them. He looked at Fang Ping and said in a low voice, "Fang Ping, you did this on purpose." Fang Ping sneered, "I did it on purpose. Everyone was sure that the two of you could not be the same person. In the beginning, Earthly Sovereign told us in the secret realm. We doubted it, but then we dismissed our doubts. But when Earthly Sovereign fell, it proved that everything was true. The things he left behind were real. The Tao fruit was real. The Annihilation Sword was real. So, the news that you are the same person, of course, it is also true." Fang Ping snorted. "I thought you had endured until now, and that was enough. In the end, you still can endure until now. Do you really think I will give you a chance, even if I can't kill Celestial Sovereign? I want you to die together." Emperor of Heaven Reverse looked at him with a gloomy expression, just based on Hong's one-sided statement. Of course not, Fong Ping said coldly. Of course, I also know that you are not the same person, but I still know that you can merge, because I have seen it. Seen it? Emperor of Heaven Reverse was slightly startled. You have seen it? Earthly Sovereign left behind a jade pendant. It is not something good. It is just a projection record. The two of you merged once in the early years. Fong Ping said playfully. Earthly Sovereign even speculated that the two of you played with the matter of exchanging paths in the early years. You tried to see if you could break away from the Tao of origin. Therefore, you may have researched the method of merging paths. Back then, Sherpa created the origin realm and could let people exchange paths. For others, especially the emperors, this method does not seem to be a big deal. But what if the emperors can also exchange paths, or even merge paths? If the God-crafting envoy is the #1 blacksmith in the 3 realms, the emperor should be the #1 scientist in the 3 realms, right? The Tao tree was cultivated by you. On the other side, a human face appeared on Emperor of Heaven Reverse's chest. The Emperor. At this moment, the Emperor of Heaven Reverse regained his composure. He looked at Fong Ping and said coldly, Hong knows a lot. But, Fong Ping, is it good for you to force us to merge? If you don't force us, when Celestial Sovereign merges with the Celestial Source, we can give him a fatal blow. Some people have guessed if we are one, but no one will believe it. Because we are not one. Fong Ping, do you know that you have ruined the big thing? He was enraged. Fong Ping insisted on killing them, forcing them to merge paths. Now, Celestial Sovereign was prepared, and this was not the right time. Now was not the time when Celestial Sovereign was at his weakest, the time when Celestial Sovereign was absorbing the Celestial Source and closing the doors around. This bastard Fong Ping had pissed them off. At this moment, their energies were merging. The 36 levels of heaven were merging with the 27 levels of heaven. Celestial Sovereign's energy was growing stronger. Celestial Sovereign looked at the two coldly. He was indeed surprised. That was because the two of them were not the same person. Their Daos were not the same Daos, so how could they fuse together? But now, the two were merging. The Emperor of Heaven, Qiong. This guy was the real scientist of the 3 realms. He had created many things and cultivated many strange things. It was a surprise that he could even merge the path of the emperors. Celestial Sovereign looked at the new powerhouse who had merged with Celestial Sovereign and the Emperor of Heaven. He said coldly, You have been scheming for tens of thousands of years. Is this all you got? If so, you think you can kill me? Aren't you underestimating me? Yes, after the two merged, their energies were powerful, no weaker than Fong Ping's. But did this mean they could kill him? If they thought so, Celestial Sovereign would show them what despair was. Celestial Sovereign ignored him. He glanced at Fong Ping again, confused. Did Fong Ping force them to merge just to make them take action? They might not have to do it now, right? Seeing that they were not moving, Fong Ping wielded his saber and forced Celestial Sovereign to step back. He shouted, Do you really think Celestial Sovereign, and I will give you a chance? Emperor God said, Fong Ping, sometimes you are very childish and ridiculous. Fong Ping sneered and said with disdain, You are the real childish ones. I didn't want to expose you when you took action. You just had to play the fisherman's game. Celestial Sovereign, this is more than that. Fong Ping shouted. Fong Ping, the Emperor God shouted. The face that appeared on the chest of the Emperor of Heaven Reverse was filled with anger. What did Fong Ping know? Celestial Sovereign looked at Fong Ping and Emperor God in confusion. There were some things that he did not know, or he was confident that even if there were more secrets, he could still suppress them. What was Fang Ping trying to say? Fang Ping ignored the Emperor God and shouted, "Combining 2 Daos into 1 is not all they have. They still have 3 Daos into 1. Dong Huang is also one of them, a trump card. After the 3 of them become 1, Celestial Emperor, their goal is not to kill you, but to seize control. Control of the source. Do you think East Emperor has been doing nothing all these years? Emperor God and Emperor God have been diverting your attention, while East Emperor has been devouring the heavens in secret. More than half of the 36 heavens have been devoured by East Emperor. The 3 of them are in cahoots, 2 in the light and 1 in the dark. Emperor God and Emperor God are in the light, while East Emperor is hesitating between you and the seed, making you think that East Emperor is the trump card left by the seed to deal with you at the critical moment. As a matter of fact, this guy has reached an agreement with Emperor God and Emperor God. They are waiting for the critical moment. When you are integrating the source, they will seize the source, trap you, and kill you at the source. Celestial Sovereign snorted. His eyes were sharp as he said coldly, "That depends on what they can do." Kill him? The 3 of them merged, devouring the heavens? Right at this moment, all 36 heavens were trembling. Over there, East Emperor had smashed King Wu away. He stepped on the air and sighed. Fang Ping, you are in cahoots with Celestial Sovereign, right? At this moment, he was beginning to suspect that the 2 of them were performing a 2-man show. They were going against them on purpose. Looking at the Emperor of Heaven reverse, Emperor Dong Huang forced a smile. Hong is smart. In the past, I only mentioned it to Zhan once, and he must have told Hong. Hong speculated it himself, and Hong kept it from me. I didn't know. He was helpless. Was Fang Ping in cahoots with Celestial Sovereign? Nobody knew the 3 of them were working together in secret. East Emperor kept a low profile. Of course, everyone knew that he was powerful, but no one believed that he was keeping a low profile. East Emperor had created all kinds of misleading plans to make Celestial Sovereign think that he was the seed's trump card to restrain Celestial Sovereign. This was to prevent Celestial Sovereign from going after the seeds after killing the others. His relationship with Emperor God and Emperor Heaven Reverse and Emperor God was ordinary. They did not have much contact. It had been like this for tens of thousands of years. They had planned and arranged everything well, but in the end, Fang Ping had revealed their plan without thinking. What was this? Earthly Sovereign had guessed it, but he did not divulge it. Earthly Sovereign only told Fang Ping to let him know that there was still a chance to kill Celestial Sovereign. He could even contact the 3 powerhouses in secret and give Celestial Sovereign a fatal blow at the critical moment. Fang Ping, on the other hand, had divulged everything. This guy, he was the biggest traitor, wasn't he? Fang Ping snorted and stepped back quickly. Go and fight for control. My land of origin is not stable. Stabilize it for a while and help me hold on. Or else, if I die, you will not have a good ending. Emperor Dong Huang was helpless. Emperor of Heaven Reverse and Emperor of God were speechless as well. This guy, was he really driven crazy by everyone? There was a chance to kill Celestial Sovereign. Why did you have to stir up trouble? Even if you contacted us secretly, we might be able to work together. You just had to tell Celestial Sovereign everything. Weren't you creating trouble for yourself? Fang Ping, this bastard, what was he thinking? Chapter 1480. What was Fang Ping thinking? No one knew what he was thinking. In any case, he had exposed the 3 best actors. After exposing them, he ran away. At this moment, the Emperor God was really angry, shouting, Fang Ping, if you want to kill him, join forces now. At this point, did he still want to take turns fighting? Was that not a suicide mission? Really, he could not understand Fang Ping's choice now. He also could not understand why Fang Ping did this. Was the Celestial Emperor someone to be trifled with? Now, since they were exposed, then join forces to kill Celestial Emperor. At this moment, the three of them quickly joined forces and were fighting for control of the source. If Fang Ping dealt with Celestial Emperor now, it would be much easier. What was he thinking? The few of them were going crazy. After living for 40,000 years, they were fooled by a young man today. As for Fang Ping, his expression was cold, really going to stabilize the source. All of you should die. If you die, part of his source will more or less collapse. I'll wait for his source to collapse before fighting again. Bastard, the immortal source is about to mature. The Emperor God wanted to vomit blood. You're still waiting? Wait my ass. If you want to wait, why don't you just expose us? This bastard, they could not understand Fang Ping's thinking, but at this moment they had to fight. They were fighting for control of Celestial Emperor. This was not a joke. At this moment, Celestial Emperor was shaking the source, trying to suppress them. The three of them did not wait for this time to attack, but now they had to. For a moment, they were suppressed by Celestial Emperor. The three powerhouses joined forces and were completely suppressed by Celestial Emperor in this source. Emperor Donghuang was also helpless. He sighed. The moment the immortal source is absorbed, the source's defense is at its weakest. Fang Ping, you've really ruined everything. Fang Ping snorted coldly. Absorb the immortal source. When absorbing the immortal source, the humans were almost dead. Why would he risk his life for them? It was because he had guessed the timing they were waiting for that Fang Ping did not hesitate to expose them. Why would he create an opportunity for them? If the immortal source was absorbed, even if Celestial Emperor was killed, the humans would be almost destroyed. Why would he risk his life for them? None of these guys were good. They did not take the humans seriously. If they died, they died. They were ants anyway. But Fang Ping was unwilling. This was the biggest difference between him and the other three. Dong Huang and the other two were helpless. At this moment, the three of them combined as one, and their auras surged. The 36 levels of heaven were shaking violently. The Celestial Emperor's expression was cold and detached as he looked at Fang Ping with some surprise. Fang Ping had actually stopped attacking. It was truly beyond his expectations. Why was Fang Ping not attacking? In reality, Fang Ping's origin was really unstable. At this time, his birthplace was frantically absorbing the city projections on Earth. At this moment of world destruction, the entire human race was praying for Fang Ping's victory. They were all worried about Fang Ping and the others' safety. They were all grateful that powerhouses like Fang Ping had shielded them from the wind and rain, blocked the chaos, and enjoyed the glory of this prosperous era. He didn't understand it before, but he did today. The catacombs was in chaos. Blood rained down. The beginner martial school was in chaos, and there were countless casualties. Only the human world was still peaceful. This was the human king, this was the martial king. These experts were there to shelter them from the wind and rain. There had never been a time when the human race had such high recognition of these experts. Fang Ping's birthplace was absorbing these city projections. Almost the entire Earth continent was being projected into the birthplace. Fang Ping was indeed somewhat powerless to attack now. It was not impossible to stop the projections, but he would not do it. He would let those three bastards bear the brunt of it, die or not. These people did not take the human race seriously anyway. He would not really treat these three as saviors. Fang Ping sat cross-legged. On the other side, Old Wang and the other two rushed over quickly. Looking at Fang Ping, Old Wang said telepathically, "Fang Ping, take this opportunity. The three of us will combine are three Daos. One will take root in your birthplace, and the other will take root in Celestial Emperor's birthplace. We will continue to absorb energy for you and provide you with a source. At the same time, we will seize control of Celestial Emperor's birthplace. Three Daos combined. Fong Ping frowned. Will something happen? What's the difference? Old Wang said calmly, if you lose, everyone will die. If you win, we will have a chance. Only then will fewer people die. Whether something happens to us or not, the result will not make a difference. Moreover, we might not die. If the Tao collapses, we might not necessarily die. In a situation of certain death or uncertainty, which will you choose? Can you really deal with Celestial Emperor? Fong Ping sighed in his heart. He could not. It was not that Celestial Emperor was much more powerful than him. It was just that Celestial Emperor was experienced. Also, the source land was far more stable than he had imagined. Despite the turbulence, it was not broken. It did not disturb Celestial Emperor. It was evident that the crack that Celestial Emperor was suppressing was fake. This kind of turbulence did not affect him too much. Fong Ping looked at the three of them and sighed. Then he put on a somber face. Then let's try combining three Daos. I think the three of them combined three Daos were taken as a reference from you guys. The three of you might really be their test subjects. On this day, he finally understood. Old Wang and the other two might be the Emperor God's test subjects. Maybe they were trying to combine three Daos. The Emperor God, Emperor Heaven Reverse, and Emperor East were not working together on a whim. They might have worked together years ago, 30,000 years ago. When the Tao appeared, they must have sensed that they were being set up. Therefore, from then on, they had a plan. The three of them did not hesitate anymore. As for whether they were test subjects or not, it did not matter. The Emperor God and the other three might be up to no good, but they all had the same goal, to kill Celestial Emperor. Their goal was the same. They did not care what they planned or what they thought. Their top priority was to kill Celestial Emperor. Boom! In the sky, the three Daos began to appear. Then they quickly began to combine. As for Old Wang and the other two, their auras began to change constantly. Gradually, they adjusted to a subtle degree. It was somewhat similar, but not quite the same. This was almost impossible, but now it had become possible. The three of them and Emperor East were doing the same. They began to merge gradually. During the merging process, Fong Ping looked at their pained expressions. He felt sad at first, but in the next moment, his sadness was shattered. On his shoulder, Ironhead's head popped out. He suddenly scolded, "Don't press on my head. It's too hard. It hurts." Fong Ping suddenly burst out laughing. "This bastard. Look at the situation now. You're still thinking about your head. Rumble." In the sky, the three Daos began to merge. Gradually, the three openings suddenly merged, turning into a slightly bigger hole. On Old Wang's side, the Sanjiao Gate appeared. Then, the Sanjiao Gate also began to merge, turning into a door. Fong Ping, origin ground. Old Wang growled. It was not appropriate to call him Old Wang. Right now, the three of them had turned into three-headed and six-armed freaks. However, the one who spoke was indeed Old Wang. Fong Ping quickly opened the origin ground, opening a door. In the next moment, the Daos opening in the sky disappeared. They instantly took root and entered the first origin ground. Meanwhile, the Sanjiao Gate's door spread toward the opening where Fong Ping's origin ground was. There was a rumble. This door and Fong Ping's origin ground stuck together. Endless power surged toward Fong Ping's origin ground. At this moment, Celestial Emperor sent the God Emperor, and the other two freaks flying with a punch. He looked at Fong Ping coldly. Then he suddenly laughed. 3 daos into 1. All right, 3 daos into 1. You guys took the initiative to separate the 3 daos, saving me a lot of trouble. I was worried that even if you found the 3 daos, you wouldn't be able to shatter the 3 daos and seal the origin ground. Now, you guys have given up. Celestial Emperor really laughed. Xiong, you guys are good too. To be honest, all these years, I really didn't have the heart to care about you guys. In my eyes, the only enemy is Yang. Only seeds. You guys are just a joke. Today, you guys have made me look at you in a different light. Celestial Emperor smiled. His smile was brilliant. I've always been worried that there would be problems with the origin ground, that it would shatter, that it would be unable to fuse, that it would be unable to close. Today, you guys have saved me a lot of trouble. Celestial Emperor looked at everyone, his laughter getting louder and louder. Looks like we can really succeed today. The 30,000 years of chaos in the origin ground can end completely today. The moment his voice fell. Originally, both sides were fighting for control of the origin ground. However, at this moment, Fang Ping and the God Emperor sensed that something was wrong. Suddenly, in the void, a large number of cracks appeared. Countless cracks, Celestial Emperor, and them were all in the middle of the origin ground. However, the sky above was getting brighter and brighter. That was the area where Celestial Emperor was. Below, however, there were countless cracks, and the cracks were shockingly large. The cutting force and absorption force coming from the cracks were also shockingly powerful. Celestial Emperor laughed. His smile was incomparably brilliant. Since you guys want to fight, then I'll give it to you. After all, the origin ground is still controlled by me. If you guys want it, then take it. At this moment, the God Emperor's expression changed drastically. He roared, "Release!" The 3 powerhouses did not hesitate at all. They immediately gave up control of the heaven and earth. Including Fang Ping, they all gave up absorbing the origin ground. But they could not give up. Celestial Emperor's smile was exceptionally brilliant. Give up? Impossible. Previously, I was still thinking that it would be very troublesome for me to clean up the mess later. I'll have to trouble you guys to clean up this mess yourselves. As soon as the words fell, the God Emperor and the other two's bodies trembled violently. Numerous cracks appeared on his body. The trash and filth of the origin ground. I'll give them to you. Celestial Emperor was all smiles. Even if he lost some power, it did not matter. At this moment, everyone could see what Celestial Emperor wanted to do. He wanted to cut the origin ground in half. He wanted to cut all the cracks, all the filth, all the darkness toward the God Emperor and Fang Ping, including some of the power. He did not care. Seeing this, Fang Ping quickly sealed his origin ground. With a rumble, the origin ground was sealed. On the other side, Old Wang and the other 2 coughed up blood and flew backward. The 3-headed, 6-armed freak disintegrated instantly. The 3 of them were pale as they looked at Fang Ping and Celestial Emperor. It seemed like they had done something wrong. As for the God Emperor and the other 2, they were also struggling violently at this moment. They had also done something wrong. The God Emperor roared, "You knew we were going to do this." "No, I didn't know." Celestial Emperor chuckled and said, "I really didn't know. I just didn't expect that you would compete with me for the control of the origin ground. You surprised me. In that case, I'll fulfill your wish since I dared to let you take root in the origin ground. I'm not afraid that you will lose control. No matter how you plot, I don't care, because this origin ground is mine." Celestial Emperor sighed and said, "You will know if you ask Fang Ping. Can he control his origin ground? Is he a god in the origin ground? Is there an outsider who can seize the control of the origin ground? You are too naive. Fong Ping looked at the three powerhouses innocently and shrugged. I haven't tried it before. No one has seized it before. I don't know if I can seize it. He did not know that his origin ground had just been formed not long ago. Why would Fong Ping think about this? At this moment, the God Emperor and the other two were so angry that their eyes were about to pop. Damn it! Big trouble! At this moment, the three of them were surrounded by cracks. Countless cracks enveloped the three of them. Between heaven and earth, a clear dividing line appeared. Above, it was bright. Below, it was dark and full of void cracks. A huge suction force came from the cracks. That was the cracks absorbing everyone's strength, making everyone return their strength. At this moment, Fong Ping suddenly said, Celestial Emperor, since you let them absorb these cracks, then you don't need to absorb the immortal source to repair the origin ground. He felt that they could talk. Celestial Emperor laughed, in spite of himself. Fong Ping, aren't you too naive? I just merged the cracks and filth into one, making it more convenient to repair. It's not enough to let these three people repair it. I still need the immortal source to repair it more perfectly. Only the immortal source can completely seal the origin ground. While the two of them were talking, the God Emperor and the other two, who were still a little desperate before, suddenly disappeared at this moment. Wrapped in countless cracks, they instantly attacked Celestial Emperor. There was a loud bang. The three of them joined forces and erupted with an incomparably powerful attack. Black began to infect the light. Celestial Emperor took a step back and sneered. Struggling on your deathbed? Your Tao fruits originated from the origin ground. Do you really think you can get rid of the origin ground? The cracks will gradually invade your Tao fruits. This is your own death wish. I will send you on your way. As he spoke, the black cracks gradually began to disappear, as if they had invaded their bodies. Fong Ping watched the battle between the two sides and did not make a move. At this moment, he frowned slightly. His expression fluctuated. Below, the immortal source was still rapidly maturing, and the Spirit Emperor was very miserable at this moment. Surrounded by everyone in the center, he could not hold on any longer. Fong Ping frowned and looked at the Spirit Emperor. He really could not see through the Spirit Emperor. This woman was actually willing to die for the Celestial Emperor. He thought that this woman had some kind of plan, but she really didn't. If this continued, the Spirit Emperor would die in a moment. In the sky, the Celestial Emperor also frowned slightly. He looked at the Spirit Emperor, and after a moment, he shouted, Spirit, retreat! He did not seem to be prepared to let the Spirit Emperor die, and the Spirit Emperor could not retreat at this moment. King Wu, Heavenly King Zhen, and the others would not give her a chance at this moment. Since the Spirit Emperor was stubborn, then they would kill the Spirit Emperor. They would not give her a chance. And the Spirit Emperor did not seem to be afraid of death. At this moment, she looked up at the Celestial Emperor, her face cold, and said in a low voice, Let the cat go, leave some memories for me. Consider it my reward for serving you for 30,000 years. The Celestial Emperor frowned, and was about to say something when the Spirit Emperor looked at the Heavenly King Zhen and the others, her face cold. In this life, I do not owe anyone, nor do I owe you, and I do not owe the Celestial Emperor, at least not now. Retreat. The Heavenly King Zhen roared, and the next moment everyone retreated. Boom! An earth-shattering roar sounded. The Spirit Emperor actually self-destructed. Self-destructed. Big fatty. On the other side, the cat that was still chasing Qin Fengqing was stunned for a moment. It turned its head to look at the brilliant light and was really stunned. With a crash, tears flowed from the cat's eyes. Fong Ping was also stunned for a moment. She self-destructed? How could it be? He felt that the Spirit Emperor should have some kind of plan, but who knew She self-destructed. Return the big fatty's Dao fruit to me. At this moment, the cat suddenly stopped crying and rushed toward the Celestial Emperor. The big fatty's Dao fruit was still there at the Celestial Emperor's side. She still had a chance to revive. In the sky, the Celestial Emperor frowned and looked at the ball of light. He stretched out his hand, and in the void, a small sword appeared in his hand. The small white sword was like jade. The small sword was already dead. This was the Spirit Emperor's Dao fruit. The Spirit Emperor had really self-destructed. If this Dao fruit was crushed, the Spirit Emperor would die completely. The Celestial Emperor frowned, slightly looking at Fang Ping and the others while attacking the Divine Emperor and the others. At this moment, no one stopped the immortal origin. The God Creation Envoy quickly rushed over, ready to analyze how to break the connection between the immortal origin and the three realms. Paid off, the Celestial Emperor murmured. The Spirit Emperor said that she had paid off everything and did not owe anyone. The Celestial Emperor suddenly chuckled. Paid off? Can you pay it off? At this moment, a large amount of life force suddenly emerged from the Celestial Emperor's body and poured into the Dao fruit. He wanted to revive the Spirit Emperor. The cat stopped instantly. The big cat looked at Fang Ping pitifully, hoping that Fang Ping would not interrupt and revive the big fatty at this moment. Fang Ping frowned. He was originally prepared to make a move at this time. The Spirit Emperor's strength was not weak. He had been revived. The self-destruction just now had almost seriously injured old Zhang and the others. If it happened a few more times, it would be very troublesome. The Celestial Emperor could revive these powerhouses. This was very scary. However, seeing the cat's appearance, Fang Ping struggled for a moment. At this moment, the Divine Emperor roared, "Why aren't you attacking? Let's join forces and kill him. Quick!" Boom. Fang Ping still chose to attack. At this moment, Fang Ping slashed out with his saber, wanting to interrupt the Celestial Emperor's resurrection process. However, the Celestial Emperor laughed and quickly retreated. He smiled and said, "You guys are not weak, but this Emperor is stronger. No one can stop what this Emperor wants to do, whether it is the immortal origin maturing, the origin being sealed, or the revival of the spirit, very domineering." At this moment, the Celestial Emperor was extremely domineering. "There is nothing that I can't do if I want to do it." The Spirit Emperor had self-destructed, saying that she no longer owed him. He had decided to revive the Spirit Emperor and tell her that what she owed him could not be repaid. At this moment, the Spirit Emperor's appearance gradually appeared. Fang Ping and the others' faces were livid. They attacked the Celestial Emperor frantically. Their expressions were very ugly. If this continued, it would be very troublesome. The Celestial Emperor could actually revive the Spirit Emperor, and he did not seem to have done much. The Spirit Emperor's figure began to appear, and gradually she began to open her eyes. At first, she was a little dazed. Then, as if she had remembered everything just now, she looked at the crowd, looked at the Celestial Emperor, and sighed softly. "Why did you still save me?" The Celestial Emperor smiled, faintly. "Because I want you to always owe me." The Spirit Emperor looked at him, a little sorrowful. "You really think I don't know?" "Huh." The Spirit Emperor's tone became even more sorrowful. 30,000 years ago, my father advised me not to fight for the Emperor's path anymore. Not long after, the tribe was attacked, and my father and my clansmen all died. In order to take revenge, in order to kill the strong enemy, I had no choice but to join the battle for the Emperor's path again. I succeeded. I killed the enemy, proved my Tao, I won, and became the only Empress of the three realms. And you, in the past, saved my father, saved my tribe, saved my clansmen, and even my master helped me step into the origin Tao. The The celestial emperor looked at her, frowning slightly. For 30,000 years, I listened to everything you said. I did whatever you asked me to do. I thought about whether to forgive you for killing my clansmen and forcing me to join the battle for the great Tao again. But I couldn't do it. So, for the past 30,000 years, I did whatever you asked me to do. I did my best to return the favor, but you owe me. The Spirit Emperor smiled bitterly. You owe me 30,000 years ago. If you told me that you wanted me to prove my Tao, to become an emperor, I would have done it. Why did you kill my clansmen and my father? The celestial emperor's face darkened. He looked at her, not saying a word. The Spirit Emperor was still recovering, but at this moment, her smile became even more desolate. I treated you as my master, as a father, as an elder brother. Even though my father advised me, I never gave up. I knew that you wanted someone to prove their Tao and become an emperor, so I made up my mind long ago. No matter what, I will fight for it. The celestial emperor said coldly. How do you know? How do I know? The Spirit Emperor smiled bitterly. Master, I'm not as cruel and cold as you think. 30,000 years ago, when I killed the lightning seigneur, I left behind a wisp of his spiritual energy. I wanted to revive him after I proved my Tao. I didn't want to kill him, but in order to prove my Tao, I had to. I was too naive. I wanted to borrow his power now. And when I became stronger and proved my Tao, I would return it to him and let him come back to life. The lightning seigneur was the beginner martial artist that Spirit Emperor killed when he proved his Tao. At this moment, even the celestial emperor was a little dazed. He murmured, You still retain the lightning seigneur's spiritual energy. When the 9 emperors proved their Tao, 9 powerhouses died. They were all dead. The lightning seigneur was also dead. You killed your enemy and took his power, but you still retained his spiritual energy. Isn't that stupid? Aren't you afraid that he will turn the tables and kill you for revenge? Even if you don't want to kill him, you have to. That won't happen if you kill him. All right, let's not talk about that. The key is that everyone knows that the lightning seigneur is the enemy that destroyed her tribe. This woman, she actually wants to let her enemy go. Is she crazy? That's what everyone couldn't understand. She actually didn't completely kill her enemy, her father's death, her tribe's death. You actually didn't kill the lightning seigneur, but Spirit Emperor didn't kill the lightning seigneur and even wanted to revive him. The celestial emperor didn't know what to say. On the other side, Emperor Dong Huang and the other 2 were also slightly stunned. Spirit Emperor didn't kill the lightning seigneur back then? Then what about the lightning seigneur? The celestial emperor frowned slightly. Spirit Emperor became even more bitter. Disciple, I fulfilled my promise. After I proved my Tao, I secretly revived the lightning seigneur. I think I succeeded and stole some of the origin source's power to help him revive, so he can continue to live. As for the revenge of his tribe's death, I think he didn't do it on purpose. That day, when his tribe was destroyed, it was only because he fought with someone and was accidentally affected. I thought of Master. Master's Heaven Division was affected by the battle between the martial god and the sword god, but Master didn't kill them because of that. Master can forgive them. And so can your disciple. The continent is in chaos, and there are endless battles. It's common for powerhouses to fight and affect the innocent. I killed him once, and it can be considered as revenge. Childish. The celestial emperor found it hard to believe. He snorted coldly, speechless. No wonder with your talent. You haven't been able to break through the barrier and have always been inferior to Hong and the others. Spirit Emperor was very strong. At least, her talent was very strong. If the sun god's disciple was the celestial emperor, and the divine emperor's disciple was Jean, then his disciple was Spirit Emperor. But Spirit Emperor had been unable to break through the 100 million barrier. At this moment, he understood. After his disciple proved her Tao, she didn't absorb the origin source's power herself, but used it to revive the lightning seigneur. Even he didn't know about this. He thought Spirit Emperor absorbed it herself, but he didn't think that this idiot would revive the enemy she killed. Spirit Emperor didn't steal the origin source's power, but gave her part to the lightning seigneur. Spirit Emperor said bitterly, "Yes, your disciple is too childish. In my heart, Master is my only goal. In order to learn from Master, I didn't even want to kill the enemy who destroyed my tribe. I was too childish to think of Master as the only one. If I didn't revive the lightning seigneur, your disciple wouldn't have understood that the enemy who destroyed my tribe wasn't him. And I wouldn't have known that all of this was arranged by Master." The lightning seigneur said that on that day his mental power was in turmoil and he fell into a frenzy. "It was he who destroyed my tribe. It was he who killed my father, but he didn't have any intelligence at that time. It was only after dying once that he woke up, and he told me all of this must have been done by Master." "You believe him?" Sky Emperor said coldly. "You believe him, but not me?" "No, I believe Master." Spirit Emperor became even more miserable. "How could I believe him so easily? I thought I had already forgiven him, even for the destruction of my tribe and the murder of my father. But he still dared to slander Master. I wanted to kill him again." Spirit Emperor was incomparably bitter and sorrowful. "But, Master, did you know that in order to prove all of this, the lightning seigneur committed suicide? He said that he wasn't a match for you, and that he would never be a match for you. You've already gone crazy. You killed the sword god. You killed the war god. Even if he survived, you would still kill him, and even me, that day when he went mad, you attacked him and chose him to pave the way for me. It was because he already knew your true colors. He committed suicide. Master, do you know how incredulous I was at that moment? The lightning seigneur was a powerhouse who broke through 8 just a little bit more, and would have broken through 9, but in order to prove that what he said was true, he committed suicide. Master, I didn't want to believe it, but that day, I wavered. Everyone was stunned as well. A supreme expert had committed suicide. Spirit Emperor became even more bitter. So, I kind of believed it. I spent close to 10,000 years to reconstruct everything that happened that day, to observe Master, to investigate the truth. And I know what he said was true, Sky Emperor said coldly. So what? Yes, so what? Was there any meaning in mentioning that today? Spirit Emperor smiled brightly. Master, do you know a woman with a broken heart is scarier than a man? Sky Emperor frowned. 30,000 years of not abandoning each other, 30,000 years of loyalty, 30,000 years of love. Master, you still believe me? Sky Emperor's expression changed slightly. Master, after 30,000 years, I finally understand why you are so confident, so convinced that you will definitely win. Sky Emperor's expression changed completely. Because you really are the son of destiny, the spokesperson of the seed. Spirit Emperor smiled brightly. You can connect to the seed. You can revive again and again. A Sky Emperor who can use the seed's energy to revive infinitely. Master, you are too powerful. So powerful that even if Sun God can kill you once, it can't kill you a second time. A third time, disciple thought, how can I kill Master? I can't kill you. If I kill you once, Master can still revive again. The power of the seed is too powerful. Its vitality is almost endless. How can I kill Master? I can't kill it. No one can. Sun God can't. Fong Ping can't. They can't. So, Disciple feels that I need to die. Sky Emperor's expression changed completely at this moment, as if he had been electrocuted, quickly flinging the jade sword in his hand. Spirit Emperor was not in a hurry, smiled again, and said, Master, Disciple is afraid that you will never die. It will be too lonely. 30,000 years. Disciple just wants to take a gamble this time. This time, Master will save me, even if everyone doesn't understand. Even if they think I'm crazy. But Disciple still wants to tell Master. Disciple really loves Master. Sky Emperor's expression changed. At this moment, he was no longer calm and said angrily, How dare you? Master, I dare. Spirit Emperor smiled. At this moment, her physical body slowly appeared, and above the physical body, there was a silk thread connected. The white silk thread was very thin, and no one would notice it if they did not pay attention. But Spirit Emperor was holding the jade sword at this moment, smiled, and said, Master, this is the life passage between you and the seed, right? Thank you, Master, for saving me 30,000 years. I won the bet. Bastard, you're courting death. As soon as he finished speaking, Sky Emperor slapped his palm towards Spirit Emperor. His expression changed. He was a little frightened. He was extremely confident, and he was boundlessly domineering. He did not care about the sun god and Fong Ping. He was not afraid of anyone, even if the three emperors became one, even if the three paths became one, even if Fong Ping created the second source. He was not afraid. He was really not afraid. He was so confident that he was not afraid even if these people became stronger, because these people could not kill him. Even if they killed him once, could these people kill him a second time? What about a third time? To be able to kill him 3 times, even the strongest powerhouse would be exhausted to death by him, because he was connected to the seed. He could revive, borrow the seed's power to revive again and again, unless the seed ran out of energy. But at this moment, he was really a little frightened. For the first time in 30,000 years, he was frightened. Spirit Emperor, a woman, his disciple, today, she had schemed against him for 30,000 years, just to die once, so that he could connect the life passage of the seed and save her once. She was gambling too much, too much. Would Sky Emperor definitely save her? The possibility was very low, but she still gambled based on her 30,000 years of unswerving loyalty. Spirit Emperor won the bet. At this moment, Fong Ping, the Divine Emperor, and the others were stunned. This they did not know, completely did not know. Sky Emperor could not be killed. After killing him once, there would be a second time. When they went through untold hardships to kill Sky Emperor, and Sky Emperor revived again, one could imagine what kind of expression they had, what kind of ending they would have. But at this moment, Sky Emperor had lost. 30,000 years of hard work had allowed Spirit Emperor to obtain Sky Emperor's trust, and he wanted to save her. Master, Disciple will wait for you. Disciple loves you, waiting for you together. Spirit Emperor's smile was bright, but also bitter. The jade sword mercilessly slashed toward the white thread with a rumble. Only at this moment, only now, only at the moment when she successfully revived, would this life passage appear. Would it always remain in her body? Spirit Emperor laughed incomprehensibly. Fong Ping, how you guys kill him? I'm waiting for him. I'm afraid of being lonely. Spirit Emperor chuckled. In a situation where Sky Emperor was shouting angrily, roaring, and losing control of himself in anger, the sword slashed out. Rumble! The jade sword shattered, and the white thread cracked like glass. Crack! Crack! It shattered into pieces. The world was quiet. Heaven and earth shook, and no one cared. Everyone looked at the shattered Spirit Emperor, his face beginning to shatter, and the body that had just been revived began to shatter. The Spirit Emperor smiled brightly as he looked at the crying big cat. He waved his broken hand and smiled gently. Stupid cat, I'm really leaving. This time, I'm really leaving. I'm going very, very far away. This time, I saw you cry. I saw you cry for me. Let me touch you again. Meow. A mournful cat cry sounded, and in the next moment, a cat with incomparable madness rushed into the figure that was about to shatter. Touch me, don't cry, be good, go, don't miss me, rumble. The figure shattered, and the world changed color. Spirit Emperor dead. Meow. The mournful cat cry sounded again, tears rolling down in big drops, and the source trembled. This cat had gone crazy. Meow. The mournful cry became even sharper, resounding through the world. That big fatty that doted on it, still doted on it so much. Today he died. P.S. 8,700 words. Everyone vote for it, and it will be finished soon. Let's see if the data can be better. Chapter 1481. Humph! A cold snort shook heaven and earth. Celestial Emperor's face was gloomy, completely enraged. That thread, with the fall of the Spirit Emperor, was also completely broken. This was the life passage between him and the seed. This was also his greatest secret, his greatest guarantee. Celestial Emperor was not afraid of anyone, including the Sun God and Fong Ping. No matter how powerful they were, Celestial Emperor was not afraid of them. However, at this moment, there was a sense of uneasiness in his heart. He was very powerful, so powerful that even without this thread, he was actually not afraid of these people. However, without this last trump card, he still felt a little more uneasy. The Divine Emperor and the others were also a little shocked and sluggish at this moment. Celestial Emperor actually had such a trump card ability. However, very soon, everyone's expression changed. Although they did not know before, now, Celestial Emperor's immortal shield had been broken. Among the three-headed and six-armed freaks, Emperor Donghuang's face was a little gloomy. He growled, "Fong Ping, now, the seed is trapped by the Sun God. Kill him, now. If he doesn't die today and goes to build a life passage, then we will never be able to kill him. Fong Ping, do you still want to watch the show?" Fong Ping's eyes were cold, and he growled, "Cut the crap, then kill him." No one cared about the death of the Spirit Emperor. Except for the sad cat, no one cared about this anymore. Opposite, Celestial Emperor's face was cold. "I was just playing with you. Since you are so stubborn, then go to hell." Previously, he was just playing with them. Anyway, he was not afraid of these people killing him, but now he was a little uneasy. It was better to finish the battle quickly, get rid of these people, and devour the immortal source. Shake! A soft shout came out, and the entire source shook violently. As soon as Fong Ping and the others rushed over, they felt the Tao shaking, the origin shaking, and even Fong Ping's second source was also shaking violently. Die! Celestial Emperor's speed was so fast that even Fong Ping could not catch it. Boom! With a loud noise, the three-headed and six-armed freak's head was directly blown up by Celestial Emperor's punch. Celestial Emperor's figure flickered, and in the blink of an eye, he appeared behind Fong Ping. Fong Ping turned around and slashed with his saber. Celestial Emperor's figure disappeared instantly, and in the blink of an eye, he appeared even further behind, closer to the immortal source, and also closer to old Zhang and the others. Fong Ping's expression changed drastically. He broke through the void and slashed. Crack! The void shattered. Celestial Emperor turned around and sneered. He looked at Fong Ping, who was chasing after him, and then at the three-headed monster. Quake! The source of power trembled again. Fong Ping and the others froze. Celestial Emperor charged into the crowd in an instant. Heavenly King Zhen and Martial King were at the forefront. Both of them roared and attacked. Boom! The celestial arch was incomparably domineering. He blasted out a punch and advanced courageously. Puff! Both of them vomited blood and were sent flying. At the back was the God-crafting envoy. At this moment, the God-crafting envoy was still studying the immortal origin, and the heavenly emperor's target was the God-crafting envoy. When Shu Xiang and the others saw the heavenly emperor send the heavenly king and the martial king flying with a single punch, their expressions changed drastically. Kill! The few of them shouted and attacked one after another. Futile effort. The celestial Thearcha's expression was cold. His hand covered the sky, covering heaven and earth as it descended with a loud rumble. Puff, puff, puff. Fragrance of books. Tengu, dragon transformation. These people's bodies cracked, and they vomited blood. Your father is trash, and you are even more so. The celestial arch casually smashed the dragon transformation's tail with a palm and sneered. Even beast kings were trash, not to mention a dragon transformation that had just attained the Tao. In his eyes, it was all trash, unable to withstand a single blow. Bang! The sound of the tail exploding rang out, and flesh and bones splattered everywhere. Buzz! A saber slashed over. On one side, Fang Ping chased after him and slashed down with his saber. On the other side, the three emperors united, also went all out, shaking heaven and earth, punching out at the same time. At this moment, the celestial arch seemed to have transformed into a 1,000-hands Buddha, countless arms striking in all directions. Bang, bang, bang. One by one, the afterimages of the arms were smashed by Fang Ping, and one by one, the arms were torn apart by the three emperors' united freak. However, this was Fang Ping and the three emperors. The others vomited blood and retreated. Some of them were even more miserable. Their bodies were almost blown up. Retreat! Fang Ping roared. Everyone retreat! He and the three emperors' united freak could resist the celestial arch, but the others could not. Even the heavenly king could not. Everyone retreated in all directions. Retreat! The celestial arch sneered. Where to? Close. With a low shout, the entire source began to shrink rapidly. The celestial arch sneered. In this source, did these people still have a way out? Before this, he played with these people with the intention of a cat catching a mouse, because he was invincible and immortal. But now, his attitude had changed. These people all had to die. No matter who it was, they had to die. Fang Ping, you will regret this. The celestial arch snorted coldly, grabbing Fang Ping's long saber with one hand. Creak! A harsh sound rang out. Fang Ping's long saber was directly squeezed out flames, pinching out a palm print. Go to hell! Fang Ping pulled out the saber with one hand and punched with the other. Rumble! In the blink of an eye, the celestial arch and Fang Ping exchanged thousands of punches. Rumble! Fang Ping retreated. The celestial arch threw away the long saber, turned around, and blasted the three emperors' united freak. At this moment, Fang Ping's fist was full of blood, flesh, and broken bones, and the celestial Thearcha's fist was also stained with some blood. However, his flesh was stronger than Fang Ping's. Under the head-on bombardment, Fang Ping's injuries were even more serious. The immortal source is about to mature. None of you will leave. The celestial Thearcha's tone was indifferent. In the blink of an eye, thousands of punches were blasted out again. The three emperors' united freak flew backward, bleeding. The celestial arch continued to shrink the source, covering the sky with one hand, and slapped out again. Rumble! Heavenly dog, scent of books, God creation, dragon transformation, many experts' bodies exploded one after another. Behind Fang Ping and the others, Old Zhang and the other two were also seriously injured. At this moment, the three of them looked at each other and quickly merged again. Then they continued to dig into the source and began to extract the celestial Thearka's power. This time, the extracted source power was not given to Fong Ping, but the three of them used it to strengthen themselves. To supply it to Fong Ping, they were worried that the celestial arch would deal with the three emperors, injecting all the cracks and filth of the source into Fong Ping's source, causing trouble for Fong Ping. The three of them merged and quickly strengthened themselves. Old Wang drew his bow, the blood-colored longbow, and the God Destroyer spear as an arrow shot out. Boom! On the other side, the arch blasted out a punch, and the long arrow was shaken back. A bunch of ants. The celestial Thearka's eyes were cold. As early as 30,000 years ago, this three realms should have been rebuilt. After dragging on for 30,000 years, you should be satisfied. After saying that, the celestial arch sneered and shouted, "Lock!" At this moment, above the immortal source behind the celestial arch, the blood vessels began to expand, began to converge, and began to spread toward the source. The immortal source was really about to mature just a little bit more. Chu mainland. With a loud bang, Li Jin cut off the Palm Seal envoy's arm with a sword, roaring, "Kill him at all costs. We must not let him prove his Tao now." Everyone felt it. They felt the heat of the immortal source. At this moment, once someone proved their Tao, the immortal source might instantly mature. Kill him. They could not let the immortal source mature now. Otherwise, the people controlled by the Tao would die, and the people in the source would also die. The Palm Seal envoy laughed heartily. He was about to succeed. Just as he was thinking, behind him, two people attacked together. Boom! The Palm Seal envoy's flesh exploded, and one snorted coldly, "Idiot!" At this moment, not only the Palm Seal envoy wanted to prove his Tao, but the others also wanted to. However, at the same time, they could not let others prove their Tao, lest the immortal source matured, and they would also die. Therefore, any powerhouse who was about to prove their Tao was their enemy. Did the Palm Seal envoy really think that everyone would watch him prove his Tao, the underworld god, and the others all went easy, allowing these two to escape from the battle and come to kill the Palm Seal envoy? A large number of powerhouses attacked at this moment. No one could think about proving their Tao other than themselves. Everyone else who tried to prove their Tao would kill them. Boom! The area where the Palm Seal envoy was instantly exploded, turning into a black hole. The Palm Seal envoy's spiritual body appeared instantly, wrapped around the Thousand-World Cauldron, and was about to escape. On the other side, the monster emperor roared, and his spiritual power exploded, causing the Thousand-World Cauldron to freeze, and the Palm Seal envoy's spiritual body to waver. In the next moment, tens of attacks came. Boom! Explosions resounded throughout the sky. The Palm Seal envoy did not even have time to say a word. In the sky, a huge star exploded. The Thousand-World Cauldron shattered. That area contained all the energy left behind by Huan and the Palm Seal envoy after they were killed. At this moment, everyone was madly absorbing it. Everyone was absorbing this powerful energy. In the next moment, everyone divided the energy. In the blink of an eye, the battle started again. At this moment, King Zhen, the Palm Seal envoy, Huan, and a few other Break 8 experts had died in battle. However, there were still many Break 8 experts left, and they all started fighting. In the underground cave, everyone was in a frenzy of killing. Kill! Kill! There were too many rank 9 experts, so many that after they killed one, another would appear. There were too many. These people were also in a frenzy, and the sound of self-destruction was endless. Knowing that they were going to die, these catacombs powerhouses were extremely brave, and they all attacked the magic martial army in a suicidal manner. Lei. In the army, Yang Xiaoman screamed. She and Zhao Lei had already gotten their marriage certificate. At this moment, Zhao Lei was surrounded by many true gods, and he was already on the verge of collapse. Yang Xiaoman screamed, and her long sword pierced through the air, piercing through a true god. However, a powerhouse behind her took the opportunity to pierce through her chest. However, Yang Xiaoman did not care about that. She looked at Zhao Lei, who was about to die, and screamed as she charged over. "Don't come." Zhao Lei killed a true god with a punch, and half of his body was also destroyed by a few others. He did not even turn his head, and he shouted angrily, "Don't come! Go back to the army! Don't come!" He could not hold on any longer, and he was just an arrow at the end of its flight. Yang Xiaoman had also just entered the peak not long ago. If she came, she would only be sending herself to death. How many people did he kill today? He did not know. He only knew that he had already completed the military department's order, completed the mission to stop the enemy. Now, he could die without regrets. However, his wife could not die, and he did not want her to die either. "Go back, Lei." Yang Xiaoman was incomparably crazy. Her long sword slashed in all directions, and the rank 9 who blocked her way were killed in an instant. The true god who was chasing after her was also pierced in the throat by her sword as she turned around. However, her own arm was also chopped off by the other party's saber. At this moment, everyone had no extra time at all and no extra energy to recover at all. Yang Xiaoman charged to Zhao Lei's side in an instant, blocking a true god's fatal blow with her sword, protecting Zhao Lei, her face full of smiles. "I'm here to save you." Zhao Lei's complexion was deathly pale. Looking at his wife, he suddenly burst into tears. "I'm King Man's classmate, but my ability is far from his. Even my wife had to risk her life to kill her way into the enemy's camp to save me. Fang Ping, I hate you." Yang Xiaoman laughed. This guy was still the same as before, unwilling to give up again. "Yes, Fang Ping is the most hateful." Yang Xiaoman laughed. Protecting him, they began to fight crazily. It was time to break out of the encirclement. Scolding Fang Ping would boost their morale. Behind them, Zhao Lei watched as his wife protected him impenetrably, fighting 3 true gods on her own. His expression changed for a while, looking toward the sky, as if he could see Fang Ping. Suddenly, he raised his middle finger. "Damn you, Fang Ping, I hate you. You're so outstanding. How do you expect us to live? We can't live anymore." A crimson saber condensed rapidly. In front, Yang Xiaoman was still killing the enemy, but her body kept accumulating new injuries. The next moment, a crimson saber shot out violently, and with a splat, a true god was slashed into pieces. The crimson saber pierced through one person and then went for another. With a loud bang, another person exploded, and the crimson saber began to crack too. Yang Xiaoman screamed again, tears streaming down her face. Zhao Lei's figure appeared, swearing, "Kill, there's still one more. Your man is no worse than that bastard. If he can kill the enemy, so can I. I'm Zhao Lei, MCMAU's number 1. Number 1. Whether it's true or not, I am." Zhao Lei roared, his face bitter. "Number 1. Mother of Asterisker, so wronged." Even without Fang Ping, there were still many others. Chen Yunxi, Zhao Xuemei, Fu Changding of the same rank. These guys seemed to be stronger than him. Zhang Yu and Xie Lei above him were also stronger than him, and a large number of instructors above him were also stronger than him. Number 1, about 100, so wronged. If he had known, he would have gone to a small martial arts university. With his desperation realm strength, he should be the first person to kill 4 true gods today, right? "Xiaoman, when you go back, tell them that I killed an emperor." Zhao Lei's figure appeared, saying pitifully, "It's an emperor." For true gods are considered an emperor, right? Let MCMAU know that I killed an emperor, not a true god. That's all. Remember to go back and change the records, or else I'm not satisfied. I killed an emperor. Do you hear me? Yang Xiaoman's tears streamed down her face, and she nodded hurriedly. I hear you. I remember. My man killed an emperor, not a true god. Killing an emperor at the peak, defying the heavens. My man is the most powerful. Ha ha ha. I killed an emperor. Boom. With an explosive sound, the blood saber collapsed, and the last true god's chest was pierced, but he did not die. Just as he was about to escape, a blood sword slashed down, and with a rumble, the last true god was killed. Zhao Lei killed an emperor. Yang Xiaoman's sharp voice resounded in all directions. Tell everyone, her man killed an emperor today. Tears of blood rolled down. There was no time to grieve, no time to grieve. On the day they came to MCMAU, they had witnessed a great battle, and someone told them not to grieve on the battlefield. Use your weapons to kill the enemy, kill all the enemies, then go back to grieve. Kill. The color of blood rose again, and in all directions, a large number of martial artists were killed by this sword. Yang Xiaoman was extremely crazy, no longer defending, no longer retreating, no longer having any grief. Kill the enemy, kill the enemy. Big Rock. The long spear was like a dragon. Fu Changding killed a true god with one spear, and instantly fought with an emperor, his face full of grief. Today, although they killed countless enemies in the catacombs, demons, catacombs, martial artists, and divine sects also produced countless powerhouses, and MCMU suffered heavy losses. He had heard the roar just now. Killed an emperor. You bastard, falsely reporting your battle results. I'm going to expose you. Fu Changding cursed. I'm going to expose you. Kill these guys, then expose you. Bang. The long spear exploded, the explosion causing the emperor to spit blood continuously. Fu Changding pulled out a thin sword from the exploded long spear, and like a ghost, the sword slashed out in an instant, piercing the other party's head. Both sides continued to fight, and after a while, an explosive sound rang out. With a rumble, the Tao collapsed, and the emperor in front of him was killed. Fu Changding was bathed in blood, cursing, "Damn you, this is the emperor you killed. Don't falsely report your battle results anymore." Tears glistened in his eyes. Today, how many instructors and students had died here? He could no longer count. In the catacombs, the powerhouses were getting fewer and fewer. MCMAU had killed more than 10,000 rank 9 and above martial artists today. A terrifying number. Origin. Boom. Fang Ping gritted his teeth and self-destructed both his arms. But it was not for nothing. On the opposite side, a hole appeared in Celestial Emperor's chest. He began to recover quickly, but his face was a little pale, looking at Fang Ping, and then at the strange man wrapped in the black fissure. Celestial Emperor laughed. Panting slightly, Celestial Emperor laughed. "Can you guys stop me?" As a large number of powerhouses were killed, the immortal source dimmed for a while. But soon, this dimness disappeared, and light erupted again. Celestial Emperor laughed. "You guys can't stop me. Soon, I'll succeed soon. When the immortal source matures, all of you will die. In all directions, Shu Xiang and the others were bathed in blood. Everyone joined forces to attack Celestial Emperor, but they still could not match him. Fang Ping self-destructed both his arms, but it only injured Celestial Emperor slightly. Celestial Emperor did not care about them anymore. At this moment, he looked down and laughed. "Good, very good. The humans are really amazing. So many land realm and beginner martial artists have been killed. The humans are really amazing." 1,000,000 rank 9s was more or less enough for him to succeed. But although the number of rank 9s born kept increasing, The humans' killing speed was not slow either. It was very, very fast. Not everyone could become a rank 9 martial artist. One had to be at least rank 6 or 7 to have this chance. After being slaughtered by the humans, now the speed of rank 9 martial artists born was getting slower and slower. Moreover, a large number of paragons and emperors were killed, which also slowed down the speed. But Celestial Emperor still laughed. The humans are really amazing, close to 1,000 true gods, hundreds of thousands of rank 9s. Celestial Emperor laughed, inexplicably, looking at Fong Ping, and the rest, smiling brightly. The humans occupy 90% of the Tao, 90% of the immortal source. I think the immortal source will mature soon. In the end, the humans' rank 9 and true gods became the main supply targets of the immortal source. There were too many powerhouses. The powerhouses of the catacombs, demon clan, beginner martial artists, these few mainlands fought and killed countless. In addition, the humans were slaughtering them, so there were fewer and fewer. But this did not matter. The humans were also producing powerhouses, more and more. As long as this continued, in at most an hour, the human powerhouses would be enough to meet the needs of the immortal source. Celestial Emperor laughed. This is all thanks to Zhang Tao and Fong Ping for the foundation. If it wasn't for your strong foundation, we wouldn't be able to do this. In the crowd, Zhang Tao's face was pale, looking at Celestial Emperor, and Fong Ping. Fong Ping was very strong, but because of the instability of the source, he could not unleash his full combat strength. The combination of the 3 emperors was very strong, but they were backstabbed by Celestial Emperor once. The countless cracks in the source also weakened their combat strength a lot. If this went on, they could not kill Celestial Emperor. Even if Celestial Emperor could not kill them, very soon the immortal source would mature. Zhang Tao looked bitter. Celestial Emperor was really too strong. Previously, Fong Ping predicted that if Celestial Emperor fought for a long time, the source would also be shaken, but now it seemed that Celestial Emperor could still suppress the source. On the other hand, Fong Ping's second source was born not long ago, not as stable as the first source. Every time at a critical moment, he was a little powerless, defeated by Celestial Emperor. Looking at the immortal source, it was getting brighter and brighter. Too many powerhouses from the catacombs and the demon mainlands had been killed. They now were getting fewer and fewer without the strength of rank 6 or 7, unable to support their breakthrough to rank 9. Soon, the human race would be able to clean up these remaining people, but on the human race's side, Zhang Tao sighed softly in his heart. Only when the human race had many powerhouses could they clean up the powerhouses from all sides, but the human race had too many powerhouses, too united, now actually became a disaster. This, in fact, he also expected. The main supply of the immortal source was the human race. Celestial Emperor. Zhang Tao laughed, looking at Celestial Emperor, panting, "You think you've won?" Celestial Emperor smiled, faintly. "King Wu, I know what you want to do, but you have to think carefully. This way, your position as the emperor may not be stable. The people will lose all trust. You're too stupid." King Wu interrupted him and said with a smile, "Lost the will of the people? What you think is only what you think. Do you think the human race will be like what you think? Do you think the human race does not even have this little bit of determination? Do you think everyone is like you, greedy for life, afraid of death, and can be a tortoise for tens of thousands of years? You judge others by your own standards, treating the human race like you are the real stupid one." Zhang Tao laughed. The next moment, the voice shook the 3 realms, roaring, "I am King Wu Zhang Tao. Everyone, the immortal source is about to mature. The plan, it's time to start. Li Zhen, hurry up, kill those bastards." Boom. Following this angry roar, A large number of roars came from the Three Realms mainland. People were constantly being killed. On the Chu mainland, King Qian was blown up by the various powerhouses. Li Jun cut off King Qian's Dao with one sword, his expression extremely solemn. Hearing Zhang Tao's voice, Li Jun looked around. There were fewer and fewer heavenly kings. They had killed too many. On the human side, many powerhouses had also died in battle. Out of the last few patriarchs in Star Town, only Warlord was still there. The Shun family patriarch was gone. On the House of Guardians side, Zhang Weiyu of the West House of Guardians was also gone. Wu Chuan was also crippled. However, the results were very obvious. Almost all the heavenly kings from the catacombs had been killed. At this moment, among the catacombs' powerhouses, only Feng and the Demon Emperor, the two half-crippled breaking 8 powerhouses, were left. Feng, the Demon Emperor, Luan, Sherpa, Underworld God, Heavenly Arm. These were the 6 non-human powerhouses who had broken through to breaking 8. There were only these 6 left. Sherpa was currently in a daze. Ever since Emperor Ling died in battle, he had been like this. If not for Emperor Ling saving him a few times, he would have been killed long ago. At this moment, when Sherpa heard a voice, he suddenly looked at Lindsay opposite him, as if he had regained consciousness, looked at Lindsay, looked at her, and said with a smile, "Little Z, I seem to remember something." Lindsay looked at Sherpa, and Sherpa said with a smile, "Let me ask you, the pair of earrings I gave to your aunt, does she still keep them?" Lindsay looked at Sherpa, seeing that he was seriously injured and his vitality was constantly overflowing. Her eyes were filled with tears. She nodded slightly and said with a smile, "She keeps them. Aunt likes them very much, but you know her, she's too embarrassed to wear them." "I knew she kept them. I knew she still likes me." Sherpa grinned, smiling brightly, smiling sadly. The next moment he looked up at the sky and scolded loudly, "You old dog, celestial arch, heaven your mother. You old dog, I wish I could cut you into 1,000 pieces. Give me back my fatty Ling." Sob, sob, sob. Loud wails came out. Sherpa looked up at the sky, crying and shouting, "I want to prove my Tao. I want to become an emperor. I want to see the glory of an emperor. I want to become an emperor. I want to propose marriage. You F*** king won't let me become an emperor. Fatty Ling is dead. Dead. Propose your mother. Old dog, you want to win? Dream on. Fatty Ling, I'm coming for you. Ha ha." Under everyone's shocked eyes, Sherpa suddenly rushed into the Demon Emperor and Feng's camp. And with a loud bang, an explosion sounded. Boom. A huge star exploded. Blood rain fell again. Sherpa's laughter continued. The Demon Emperor and Feng's scolding rose and fell, and grunts sounded continuously. Sherpa self-destructed. At the side, Luan's face was full of sadness, but very soon it disappeared. She didn't care about Sherpa. Everyone was going to die. It was just a matter of time. She had seen through it. At this moment, he suddenly looked at Lindsay, smiling uglier than crying. "Woman, did you lie to that bastard? How could Ling Huang keep the earrings he gave? I don't believe it. You are too evil, still lying to him at this time." Lindsay's face was full of sadness, and she said softly, "I didn't lie to him. It's true. It's just that Aunt doesn't like these external things. She really kept it. In the past 30,000 years, besides Ashkat, only Uncle Sure gave some gifts, and Aunt kept them. I thought Aunt forgot to throw them away, but now..." Luan grinned. "So, that woman might really have something on her mind about this stone? TSK, TSK, TSK. It's not a loss to die, not a loss." Luan laughed, looking at the ball of light. Her eyes couldn't help but reveal a touch of sadness. Whether it was true or not, the moment Sherpa left, he was happy, excited. Ling Huang left behind the gift he gave. Perhaps it was also a gift from the only man beside Ling Huang. How could he not be happy? Perhaps in the past 30,000 years, he was the only one who gave it, but if Sherpa knew, he would be even happier. "Brother Sher, You are finally satisfied. Ha ha ha. Luan laughed out loud, looking at the demon emperor and Feng, who had broken bodies. He laughed and said, "The two of you still want to prove your Tao? Stop dreaming to prove your Tao and help that old dog heaven emperor? Why not go back? Why not go back? The chaotic three realms. It's time to end." No, the demon emperor and Feng both roared angrily, turned around, and ran. These people were all crazy. In order to stop Heaven Emperor, Sherpa directly self-destructed. What was Luan thinking about? Luan laughed and said, "Don't run. What are you running for? Everyone get your weapons and kill them. I am Luan, an expert in creating chaos. Today, let's create chaos again." Along with this laughter, Luan laughed loudly, instantly rushing forward. Boom. "Old dog heaven emperor, you want to trick me to prove my Tao? No way. I am Luan, my ass. I hate this chaotic world." A loud roar resounded in all directions. Chaos? No, he wasn't Luan. He just didn't want the three realms to be in chaos again. In that chaotic era, his family, his friends, his brothers, all died in the chaotic era. Therefore, he was Luan. But he didn't want the three realms to be in chaos again. That bastard who schemed against the three realms for 30,000 years still wanted to keep the three realms in captivity. Dream on. It's time for the chaotic era to end. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.